What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight on the Famliest of Fridays. The most exciting Famliest of Fridays, because it is the calm before the storm, 48 hours before we finally get football back in our lives. The official football, Dallas Cowboy football. So with that said, thank you everybody for chilling with us, hanging with us. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily, and hop in the Discord. The link for that's in the description box down below. And of course, as we get rolling here tonight, guys, we do have some things, some news, some info to touch on. Most especially, we got to hear from the Joneses today, and they had quite a bit to say about the goings-ons right now, and of course, maybe a little bit of the future of the team too.
And we also got some matchups to discuss tonight. Some very important key matchups. If you want to get the win, you got to win these matchups. We're going to talk about 4 of them today that are major. You see 2 of them right on your screen with Micah and the Giants offensive lineman, Mr. Thomas, and of course CeeDee Lamb and Miss Jackson. Ooh. We're going to talk about those matchups as well as injury question marks, as you see right there front and center on this screen. So before we can get into this, baby, why don't you holler out those that represent this channel on the nightly here. The champions of last week, starting with the sponsor of the week, the great Jason Renfro.
Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate you, of course. And Jason's not just representing as the sponsor of the week, right? He is the membership champion for the last few weeks here.
Yep,
right? 5 weeks, I believe.
He's got 5 on it.
There we go.
And he's currently in second place, trying to get that 6 on it, but the 6 and beyond, I guess. But you got right now, the Lunatic is in first place on the gifting side of things.
Woo! Thank you so much, Brandon James. Appreciate the Dollar Holler Classic. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. Brandon James. Of course, he did drop some PayPal, so I don't know if it went through all the way yet, but he's on that board, and he's on that Cash App side of things. Speaking of Cash App, SnugX, overall tied in 8th place, but he is the champion from last week. Not just last week, the last month. 4 weeks in a row for SnugX as the Cash App King. You know why he's here. Is he getting it this time around? He's got 5 on it, and there's a bunch of other people in the mix there, like Brandon James Shea, even Jason Renfro. But the leader currently in the Cash App side is the man that always stays skeptical. Skeptical fan, much love to him. He got that Tony Pollard holler in there, and currently he is still in first place on that board. So we got a lot of different faces, like David Lara, 27 points on the stream boss. Appreciate you, sir. Much love from him, and some other shout outs coming around the board here, like the overall leader, who still is skeptical fan, holding it down, and a lot of people in the mix there that are right behind them. But I do have to also shout out some membership people here in the Navy Blue crew, not the gifted kind, the ones that jump in it, like Tammy Soltis. Much love. She's a legend here, been here for a while. And Traveling Fools, who got a gifted membership, said, I'm staying in it. And now he's on that board as well in the Navy Blue crew. That. Much love to Traveling Fools and Tammy Soltis. And, kicking it off tonight with Brandon James Shea with the Dollar Holler. Thank you guys, all you guys, for stopping in here. And by the way, the Cash App is back to working again. Just want to make sure I shout that out there. Last night there was something wrong with the Cash App side of things, not us. Also saying that, on top of the all these different boards, different leaders, we do have to also talk about the ways of dropping the love here, right? So you got the super chat, you got the thanks button, you got the memberships. We just talked about people jumping in, and of course you got the gifting memberships, and then you got the Cash App side of things. We just talked about that, and even PayPal being involved in the Cash App side, baby. Mm-hmm. That's the other 4 ways of helping the channel out. Of
course, you have the money sign, MyCowboysFamily, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, your regular PayPal link, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link, which lets your comments show up on screen just like a super chat.
Whichever you go, we appreciate you guys on all those fronts. And of course, we do the Fan Friday. Every day we do the star level shout outs, every single Friday. But every single day of the week we do the shout outs for the star level member. But tonight we do the star and the silver level shout outs.
A little extra sparkle on these Fan Fridays, right?
You know how it goes, guys, when it comes to the memberships. Navy Blue Silver Star, the Over Everything membership, all of them have their special perks. They all, as you go up higher on the membership, levels, you get all the stuff that's the perks on the lower levels you get as well. But the main thing here is that when it comes to the silver level, you get your every Fan Friday, you get your shout outs. And when you're in the over everything level, that's the top shelf level, and the star level, or the star level membership, you get shout outs every single night here. You guys run the show. So, baby, without further ado, let me shout out everybody in the mix here, just all together in the silver star and over everything but level.
Of course, Dwayne Broussard, the top dog. Skeptical fan, always staying skeptical. Bobby Bottles. Ron, the Don, the OG since day one.
Ron,
Marissa,
the Don Smith, yes.
Sparkle. Mary Alvarez. Andy Potched. Jason Renfro. We have LC, of course, and Mr. A. Lavelle.
A. Lavelle, man. You know, A. Lavelle, 38 months. That's the record. I know we got a lot of people in the 30-month range, but the longest, A. Lavelle, the all-time leader in any of our, levels, and he's been a silver level man since day one. Speaking of day one, Zach Luna in the house.
Ooh, thank you so much, Zach. Appreciate you dropping that $5.
Oh.
Did
he drop the 5 on it?
Yes, he did.
He did. Much love. Welcome in. And what did the man say as I add his name to the board?
I love our boys, but the Eagles are too loaded. They just have an objectively better roster. I'm picking the Eagles to win the East, but Dallas is a close second.
I
thought you were going to comment on it first. It's okay. I was trying not to talk over Mr. MCF. Instead, we said him sitting here. But thank you, Zach.
Yes, the Eagles are definitely, no doubt. I mean, we hate the Eagles here, but of course, no doubt, they are a tough team. There's no question in that. At the same time, I do think they have a better roster on some positions. I would say
in certain positions they have a little something more than we do. But I think it's the same way around.
Well, I think to me it's the cohesiveness, right? So to me, the defense, they might have some better players in better spots specifically, but I think overall we have a better defense than the Eagles. I think that in itself can keep us, right there with them, and I think that's what he's trying to say. It's close, and I agree it's going to be close. We've been saying this. Out of these 3 teams, 2 of them are going to be in the NFC Championship game. And that's going to be the Niners, the Eagles, or the Cowboys. 2 of those 3. So there's no question the Eagles are going to be tough. There's no question. No way I'm looking over them. But I do think that we have them on the defensive side, and they have the right scheme on the offensive side. I mean, they're going to make it tough. So it's going to be an interesting little battle. So it's going to come down really to, I think, our defense really getting turnovers and being able to rattle them a little bit, and then our offense just not making mistakes against their very tough defense. But their defense got some weaknesses in some parts thrown in there, whether it's a cover guy or a linebacker. I'm just saying they got some good talent, but it's not necessarily going to solid 100%.
Can I just say the thing that worries me the most, which is probably something we're going to spend a little too much time talking about tonight? Yeah, it's the O-line. It's always been the O-line. Like I said, at certain positions, I think we match up better. I think they got us on a few. But where I'm more concerned at is exactly what Marco Seppian's saying here with this $2 holler. The Philly D-line against our O-line. That's where they got us fair and square.
And that's what I'm trying to say. That's where it kind of you see the turn there where, okay, where does this – who's going to be able to get the advantage here? The Eagles obviously have the advantage in the trenches, and that's going to hurt our offense. We cannot make mistakes on offense. Yeah. It might be a 13-10 final. We can win it. I know we can win it with our defense – we'll get the turnover. Our defense will get us points somehow. I just think that our offense cannot give away points or opportunities.
And Marco Seppian, his full comment was, the Philly D-line really scares me. D-line makes a D. And again, I'm so fully confident in our defense. It's not even a question about their defense versus our defense. I'm sorry, I'll pick ours every day of the week and twice on Sunday. But when it comes to their defense against our offense... and I will admit a lot of that skepticism outside of the O-line situation, it's not that I don't believe in McCarthy's scheme, because I do, but we have yet to see it, right?
Yeah,
we've heard a lot about it, so I just want to see it in action. And obviously by then we'll feel much better, but of course we're going to be seeing it in action against the Giants. And you have to admit they're also a pretty talented squad, although
we're going to talk about the matchups that are going to make the difference in this specific game against the Giants, but you can look at these matchups and probably say this every game of the year in some cases. So what I am going to say about the Eagles and Cowboys, again, I do think that the Cowboys offensive line, if we have one guy down, all the guys around, other 4 guys are top 10. So we might have a little hiccup here and there, but for the most part, I think we'll be able to survive with the changes of McCarthy's quicker, kind of at times quicker offense. And also, it's going to be okay because not great, but it's going to be better than we think, because you're going to have Austin Richards, Bass, or Chuma Edoga around 4 other fantastic, talented offensive linemen. Now, knock on wood, it only stays at 1 at worst. But, right now we're talking about 2 possibly. We didn't even kick off the ball yet in week 1. So we'll talk about this and more. I know on the same screen, we apologize. Much love to everybody in the Star, Silver level members, and everybody in Navy Blue over everything, all the levels here in My Cowboys Family. Okay, we've done enough talking on that, baby. Let's also do some talking about who's in the house tonight. Do those shout-outs.
Right, I have to do the shout-outs. Of course, Jason Renfro. Much love to you, Zam. DFW, hello. Mike Aldana. Congratulations. He was just gifted a membership by the man Bobby Bottles.
Who's also in the house. Yes.
Shout out to you, Bobby, representing it there.
Yes, truly appreciate the man Bobby Bottles. Always coming in here, dropping a couple of gifted memberships. Truly appreciate that. Go Cowboys. Bobby Bottles. Then you get him on that board.
And you already know, drop them if you got them, especially the extra special of the Giants, right? Kelly KC, hello and hi. Thomas Garrett, the Superior. Garrett, James Gary, much love to you as well. We have Rolando Rodriguez in the house. C. Bass, hello and hi. Yeah, our O-line is definitely giving soft serve. So, Fuego 2.0, shout out to you. 808 Cowboy Bird Killer. That's what we need to be doing, right? Yeah. Of course, mahalo.
We'll get there.
To Marco Seppian. We got Chris Plumage in the house. Well, he's repping it and put up in Cowboy style.
Shouted it out too. I think you
awesome, perfect. Yeah, I know Chris mentioned it earlier this week, so I'm glad both of you guys got your gear. And guys, it's gonna be the final little ring shout out here. If your name happens to be Pretty Pre, LaMarcus Robinson, or Ken Got Kicks, send us an email, please. MyCowboysFamily@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media. Either way, guys. If not, we're going to be re-raffling off the wonderful Skeptical Fan prizes next week again. So I guess stay tuned for that. And if not, once again, Pretty Pre, LaMarcus Robinson, Ken Got Kicks, please.
Yep. Well, they're re-raffling.
Let us know.
To the Navy Blue crew.
With that, let me keep rolling with the shout-outs. We got Kevin Bilbo. That's Modius representing it Memphis style, of course. Zach Luna, who dropped the love. We have Leaside Herald. We wanted to
very much
talk
the least.
Cowboys. So, not the sissy ball they're playing in Houston. Scorpio, what's up? Daniel Berry, much love to you as well. Retro Scotty representing.
Retro.
Chuck Pridgeon, hello and hi. We've got, let me see, who else is here? I think, is that as far back? Oh, no, Little Dallas Cowboy, of course. We got to shout you out. Mari Roberts, coming back down.
He dropped some knowledge yesterday, believe it or not.
Madman, hello and hi, much love. So yeah, I think that's everyone here so far.
Yeah, I updated the board just so everyone knows. Bobby Bottles now fourth place on that overall board. The Lunatic in first when it comes to the gifting side of things with 5. Jason Renfro with 3 in second place. Skeptical Fan with 2 in third place, and Bobby Bottles with 1 in fourth place. Weird thing with numbers, reversing numbers there, and it's like 1 5. Right. Yeah. Anyways, we got it updated, guys. Truly, thank you guys. And by the way, David Lara. He's a Tony Pollard holler drop away from giving up that stream boss as we head into this first game against the Giants. Who's taking that board? A couple days from now, we get the Giants. We'll see if someone's new on there. If David Lara powers himself back up to 100 points, we'll see. Anyways, baby, is that it from the chat? Then we're all caught up. Time to break down some news, info, and updates on our Cowboys today.
Yeah, I'm ready. If you're ready,
about to be ready here. I'm about to be ready because we're going to talk about some crazy shit right now. NFL style and Antonio Brown. Kind of mentioned it yesterday. I jumped a little bit there right now. Black and Blue TV, congratulations, receiving a gifted membership from the one and only Bobby Bottles.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Once again, he's sharing the love with the family here with the Go Cowboys.
Hell yeah. And, that now puts him in a tie with Skeptical Fan with 2 apiece. Yeah, much love to Bobby in the house. Bobby Digi. Appreciate Bobby you. Yeah, and he breaks into the top 10 now officially on the overall board.
So, by the way, real quick, I see Marco Seppian also dropping a $2 holler following that up. Thank you, Mark.
A J-Lou too.
Appreciate you. And he said updates on the O-line injuries and Mozzie. Oh, yeah, I want to clarify something. Just because I did see some confusion in the chat. It's all good. It happens. But Mozzie Smith is not the injured player. He is not the injured Smith. This is why we need to start having like a duel to the death over last names and first names or something. Because the next time we have 3 Connors and 3 Smiths on the team, I'm going to cry. But yes, so
I was confused why
it is the O-line Smiths. The offensive Smiths,
like Smith
who are the ones banged up, and we do have the updates there.
Yes,
but realistically speaking, guys, it seems like Tyron is more likely to play, and the rest of the guys are still a bit of a question mark.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah, we have a lot more details. I think Jerry and McCarthy both.
Oh yeah, you want to hear it,
have
guys,
a lot more details on that.
we could have a whole new left side on the offensive line against the Giants.
So,
and with these matchups, it's even bigger that we talk about this right now. Now, let's open this thing up, talk some NFL football. Antonio Brown, I don't know if this is NFL football. He stripped down to his underwear on a Florida State campus, on Florida State's campus, the Seminoles. And then he threw into the crowd. Some guy who caught it right, and his cell phone was in his pocket still. He was walking around in his underwear. And he just threw his like red snakeskin pants. He was in Tallahassee to hold a rap concert at Potbelly's. Yeah. So, Antonio Brown doing really good there. But
I understood a few of those words.
They posted a video of this online so you can see him. And the guy's going through his phone. It's locked, but he can go through his phone. You see all the, messages and all the information coming through there from all of his contacts. Crazy. Like Antonio Brown. Now, Nyheim Hines. Remember him, the running back from the Bills? Pursuing, he actually is out for the year with that torn ACL. He had an accident, a jet skiing accident, remember? Mm-hmm. He is pushing legal action against the jet skier who hit him in July. So he wants to make sure he gets, and I don't blame him because that's his career right there. It could be, and he's just lost a whole year. Kadarius Toney last night with the Chiefs, but against the Lions. I'm gonna tell you one of the worst PFF nights for a receiver here in a minute. But Jason Renfro dropping the 110, the $1.10 holler.
Thank you so much, Jason. I think he said "Go Cowboys," or maybe he said "Go Cowboys."
Oh yeah, he always saying "Go Cowboys."
So I guess the moral of the story is don't throw your pants.
Oh, you mean the Antonio Brown story?
Into a college crowd.
Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, right?
I promise I'll keep my pants on all the time. Like I don't know, guys. I kind of feel sad the more we talk about Antonio Brown and some of his shenanigans. It's starting to feel more sad than what the heck is he up to. You know what I mean? So just really hope he can, maybe find a way to be a little more chill in certain scenarios in his life. I can't imagine losing your pants and losing your phone is fun.
Yeah, I mean he's
lost
something.
At least he meant to lose his pants.
I'm
and
just saying. I think he lost his mind is the bigger issue right now. To be honest with you, I do want to shout out somebody here in a minute, baby.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm updating the board because Kevin Bilbo dropping that $2 holler in the Cash App side of things. Much love to Kevin Bilbo, who said, "Yo, Cowboys." Appreciate you, Kevin, and thanks. Got you on the board there, and again, I hate to say 16th place, but you're not last there, and hey, you can always move on up. So appreciate you, Mr. Bilbo. And if he's in the chat, yes. If he says any comments,
I know he was here earlier, so shout out to you, Kevin. Appreciate you, of course.
And go Cowboys, you know the deal. So now talking one last little bit about NFL news. Kadarius Toney, he had a PFF grade yesterday, which was the worst single game grade given to a wide receiver since 2018. I'm just wondering who was that receiver in 2018. But man, it was a bad. Again, he had a lot of balls go through his hands. He caused a pick six. A really, really bad situation. Now. That's it. I mean, we'll touch on the Kansas City game before McCarthy speaks today, but Jerry Jones opened up the day. So did McCarthy, I guess. They were doing a lot. They were doing the rounds, guys. Jerry Jones had 2 or 3 interviews, all right? And he's got another interview coming up on Sunday, which we're going to break for you tonight. So let's start with Jerry Jones, but we're going to have Jerry Jones. Mike McCarthy spoke on 105 The Fan and then had his press conference. Dak has a lot of stuff all over the place about him and his tattoo. We're going to talk about it, trust me. But let's start with Jerry Jones kicking things off, and basically talking about the Dallas Cowboys I think this was going to be on ESPN's Sunday NFL Countdown. The morning kind of show. They kick off the day for football. They're going to have this Jerry Jones interview. So this is kind of behind the scenes, guys. You get into a 48-hour preview. Yeah, a 48-hour preview and details of whether or not we care about what Jerry Jones says all the time, because he is part of this show we call the Clown Show. But with Stephen Jones there. But let's hear from him. Let's hear what he had to say, guys. We're about to kick off the season. He has a final couple of words. And he said this on again, ESPN Sunday NFL Countdown, talking about the Cowboys are in best shape that he's seen in a while, I guess you could say. So what did he have to say, baby, when it comes to Jerry Jones?
He said, "Some years going in, I've known that we were in better shapes than others. But these parts of this team that we're in as good a shape as we've ever been in since I've been a Dallas Cowboy. I feel strongly that we should aspire and, frankly, do anything at any time that can make us better right now to compete at that level. I think I'm saying a lot when I say that. This isn't about years in the future. The good news is you can make decisions that help you right now first and foremost, but can also be additive to the future. Those are the ones I'm looking for and trying to compromise on every day. That comment reminds me a lot of the Mozzie pick, right?
Yeah,
the comments made in the building as far as one of the big reasons they liked him over Bergeron is that Mozzie helps us right now, but he also helps us in the future. So
I've heard this with another comment earlier, that they spoke about another position, another player, like last week, and now we're doing it again. So a lot of Jerry Jones using that same Will McClay mindset. Now, I know he also spoke about McCarthy, and he's given a lot more power to McCarthy.
And basically some of the benefits of him conceding some of that power, right? He said that, quote, McCarthy is going to have the benefit of,
Kellen Moore.
Former, coordinator Kellen Moore, right? But at the same time be able to really, I think, benefit from having seen these players play, having seen their pluses and minuses of what Kellen did as a play caller. I think all of those things will make us a better team now.
You said pluses and minuses. See, there were some minuses now that, you have to take away from the issues that Kellen Moore had. I think McCarthy is going to be able to do a good job of that.
Remember, even Kellen Moore's offense, when McCarthy was a head coach, it obviously had some Mike McCarthy feedback and inspiration and stuff. So I've always said it. It's not like McCarthy disagreed with everything Kellen Moore threw out there. But the fact that it had some influence from him, it still just allowed McCarthy to basically evaluate some of those core pieces to figure out how he wants to use them. And, of course, with him being more involved in the draft, he got to add the rest of the pieces he felt he wanted.
I think McCarthy, did that, and whether we like it or not, with a Schoonmaker move. Now, look, there was controversy about a trade for Trey Lance, not asking Dak, not talking to McCarthy. There's a lot of bull crap about that. The highest paid, again, the thing is this, guys, that no one was told about this, and he was not. He has no issue with this, right? I mean,
and Jerry's comments were basically just like insinuated, like, I own the team and I know a good deal, and if I want to make a good deal, I can do it.
Yep. So he touched on that as well. But then moving on, and this was kind of on 105 through the fan. He spoke about one of our players here, the quarterback for our team, Dak Prescott, and his tattoo, which we'll go into it in a minute. But basically, Jerry Jones said that he didn't know this was a 10-hour procedure and that he was under, basically put under, guys. I'll tell you about it in a minute, but basically Jerry Jones was shocked. He said, just so you're clear, I had no idea about tattoos. I better get up to date on it. I had no idea that required any kind of sedation for any tattoo, or that kind of sedation of any tattoo. It further explains to me why I don't have a tattoo. So
if you got to be sedated to get a tattoo, you should not be getting a tattoo. But I have to admit, this makes me really uncomfortable. One, I'm sorry, but what kind of pussy ass bitch shit is that you need to be sedated to get a sleeve, to get a
Dak did. Listen, here's what happened.
Sorry, but I understand that obviously, with larger pieces like that, professional athletes don't have time to sit for the sessions required. And I guess this is one of those workarounds. But everyone knows that the way the tattoos work, that's still a huge stress on your body. And as an athlete, I'm just surprised that they're willing to take that risk, especially knowing the risk of sedation. But hey, I'm not an athlete.
He was sedated for 10 to 11 hours, and Dak was knocked out, put under for this leg tattoo, the leg sleeve he got. This massive tattoo he got features Daffy Duck doing Dak's signature touchdown celebration. The Cowboys, the Dallas skyline, a sign from Pine Creek Estates with mobile home where he grew up in Louisiana, images of the Black Mamba, with of course Kobe Bryant, Jumpman logo for Michael Jordan, a picture of Muhammad Ali. All of this was done in that 11-hour session. I'll tell you about the safety of this in a minute, but first we got the man, Mark Hovsepian, Hawaii Mark, in the house with that $2 holler, that J. Lou 2. What did he have to say?
Shout out to him. He said, "Why the F do they need to consult with Dak?"
I agree with you. And Jerry Jones said the same thing. I don't know what the Joneses said themselves, well, Dak's part of the team. We'll talk to Dak. And then they make a deal. They didn't talk to Dak. To me, the bigger thing is that you didn't talk to Mike McCarthy than Dak. And the other thing is that, in the end, I understand Jerry Jones can do it. It's just funny that Jerry Jones did it in 5 minutes and didn't confer with anybody about it. I mean, that could also be dangerous if the guy's getting, I'm not saying he is. If he's getting senile, he can trade away, Micah Parsons for peanuts, and then, I'm saying, I'm sure it wouldn't be approved eventually, but the NFL would probably, be able to be voided out. But I'm assuming that this was something that the Cowboys, as an organization, knew that it could happen in the back of their minds. So I'm assuming that as well. But I agree with Mark. There's no reason to ask Dak or McCarthy. If Jerry Jones wants to do something with his team, he does something with his team. It'd be nice if he talked to McCarthy at least. Dak, I guess you could say he'd be nicer if he talked to Dak, but Dak doesn't have to know, and McCarthy doesn't have to know either. But if you're adding a player to a team that a guy is coaching, I think McCarthy's a guy he maybe should have conferred with. But it's not. To me, it's like you don't have to do either. Like you still bring the guy and you can confer with him afterwards.
I feel like, at least for me, unless the person who's being brought in has a little asterisk next to their name for some reason, like they're problematic or they have like drug substance problems or
domestic stuff,
they have like whatever it is. My point is that outside of Jerry trying to bring someone like that in, why the heck does he need to speak to McCarthy out? Like, maybe at most you could say, well, you want to make sure you're actually bringing in someone that can contribute. But Jerry kind of said it before. If Jerry feels like this player can contribute,
Jerry's going to get him. For a deal that you can get, he feels on a good deal. The Niners feel they ripped this off. So we'll see what happens. Either way, Jerry did pull the trigger. He's the owner. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, honestly. So and we got Trey Lance. But look, moving on to this, Dak Prescott, this leg tattoo we talked about, he got it done like this was in the offseason a couple months ago, but he was out.
Not the only one.
Got out, So
sorry, I see Bobby Bottle say like, "This is why you don't pay quarterbacks all that money." Then they do stupid shit like sit for 10 hours for a tattoo sedated.
Yes.
Again, not the only ones.
Yeah,
so
on our team we have like 3 or 4 guys that are getting this stuff done. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, but I don't know if he's getting sedated. So, anyways. For the record,
him and Pollard both.
Oh, they all got sedated?
They both were sedated as well.
Yeah,
I saw it in the thing there. So, they both were also sedated for their super sleeves, let's call them.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid, in my opinion, but that's up, their lives.
Other people commented in the chat, too, like celebrities like Post Malone and
I was
others
just about to say that. Yeah, Post Malone, Little Uzi Vert, Offset, Moneybagg Yo, Odell Beckham Jr. All of them have gotten these tattoos under sedation. Now, I will say this, just for the record, and let's make it clear. The process was safe and supervised by a team of medical professionals and part of a new trend with expansive and expensive tattoos for celebrities. So,
again, that's why I said I understand that, they don't necessarily have the same time abilities, right, to get these types of sleeves or things like that, maybe more paced out. Like I said, I figured they were under medical supervision if they're being sedated. That's kind of a law.
Kind of got to do that.
So outside of that, though, like I said, it's more about the stress of being so heavily tattooed like that, like on your body. Like, because I'm almost positive, didn't they do that during the season?
No,
or was that during the off season?
This is off season.
Off season.
This was like a March, April time frame, and that's in that frame. Anyways, let me move it on because.
And by the way, guys, I am pro tattoo. I have a tattoo. Yeah. I have.
She wants more.
Yeah, I want more. I just haven't gotten more because up until recently, I didn't know what the heck I wanted. Yeah. But yes, I'm very pro tattoo.
I don't have any. I'm like Jerry Jones. I don't have any tattoos on me, and I never will get one. Especially, I'll get one. I might get one, but I'll never get one on a sedation. You can bet your ass on that. Bring the tattoos.
Bring on the piercings.
No piercings.
More the merrier.
Yeah. I guess.
Back to you.
let's go back to the Cowboys now. It's not over, guys, because Jerry Jones. Okay, we talked about the Dak tattoo. That was a Jerry Jones comment about that. But let's talk about football now. Again, let's get to where it really matters. You see Dak Prescott there because Jerry Jones has asked what Dak Prescott needs to show him to prove that he's a Super Bowl type quarterback. What did old Jerry Jones have to say about this comment?
I think that we first of all have to realize how few Super Bowls that even the greatest quarterbacks attain.
That's true.
Makes me think of Aaron Rodgers.
Russell Wilson won. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of other ones that won.
It's never too late to start.
Breeze won.
And so that if Dak should start this year with the Super Bowl and tack 1 or 2 more on, that he would be right there with the best that have ever played for the Dallas Cowboys.
That's what. If he gets a Super Bowl, automatically he's 3rd best of all time. There's no questions. That's it. If him, and I say him, it's not the Cowboys, it's not Dak Prescott. Dak's not doing it by himself. But if Dak and the Cowboys, the team, if we all do it together here, then Dak is already the 3rd best quarterback. Better than Romo, better than Danny White, better than anybody else. He probably already is, but that solidifies it. And I think right there to me, it comes down to, he can win 2 and be there with Roger or 3 with Aikman. But to me, it's like they all have their greatnesses now at this point.
Yeah. Now, this comment was a little interesting by Jerry because he was kind of asked, okay, but what happens if we're not the ones who win the Super Bowl at the end of the season, right? And
Now
Jerry
we're going to 28
said,
years now in a row.
how we as a team, as we evolve through this season, all of that will weigh. We could very easily have a team that doesn't hold the trophy up, but be dramatically better than one if you cleaned house. So we'll let that set of facts, let that play out during this 23 year, be the influencing things of when we get to 24. You ask me, is winning the Super Bowl imperative without blowing this team up? And I say no, it is not.
So we're just getting, again, if this team is great and it has a great run and we get to the NFC Championship game and we're a field goal away because Brandon Aubrey misses it because Jerry Jones fucked up, then this is not going to be blown up. It's not on Dak. It's not on McCarthy. They're all staying.
I was just about to say that to me, for whoever keeps thinking that McCarthy's somehow going to be fired, you are dead wrong, in my opinion.
He could be. If he don't make the playoffs, he's gone. You know what I'm saying? If he gets enough and losing the first round, he's gone. I'm going to say probably gone.
I think it still depends on why exactly that is.
Fair enough,
but
fair enough.
Since we've seen McCarthy navigate, let's say, like Dak going down, like unless Dak goes down for the rest of the season, if he goes down in a temporary situation, we've seen McCarthy navigate those waters.
Yeah.
We've seen McCarthy navigate other situations. So, that's what I'm saying. I'm curious. Actually, not curious in a good way. Curious in a I don't want to find out way. What the heck would have to happen for us to not make it to the playoffs and for McCarthy to end up in that type of situation? But hey, we're talking Cowboys here, not the McCarthy boys, right?
Yeah,
so,
but we are talking the Jones boys as well. And when it comes to Jerry, Jerry Jones spoke, and he speaks a little more. But let's stick with this theme for a second, Dak, Super Bowl, and let's talk about a deal for Dak Prescott, right? I mean, that's something that we've been hearing from the front office over and over again. Things changed a little bit today.
Deal or no deal?
Things changed, I think. Maybe I should have made it part of I didn't want to make it clickbait, but maybe I should have changed it to part of what, part of the title. Because when it comes to Dak Prescott, Stephen Jones first spoke. And I know you have this long quote, baby, so hit me up at what Stephen Jones said about basically Dak Prescott getting that next deal done. As that franchise quarterback price goes up.
I think the best thing for us at this point, just looking at it, we've certainly digested it. If you wait one more year, and then the key for us is going to be spreading out how we pay that. Most of these guys that have some long-term type deals, 5+ years, I think that if we can do that, it'll be not only advantageous for the team as a whole, but advantageous for Dak. So we can continue to put the type of players, give him the offensive lineman he needs to protect him.
Please.
Give him the weapons he needs to move the football. And certainly have a defense that can get the ball back for him. No one understands that better than Dak in terms of we've got to get a guy like Micah Parsons signed. Obviously, our eyes are glued not only to a Justin Herbert deal and a Joe Burrow deal, but also a Nick Bosa deal. We've got one of the great defensive players in the league as well. All those things are things that we keep our eyes on. We're always thinking about how to manage and make sure while we do have some very unique skilled players that we keep those guys together.
So keep the gang together for the most part is what Stephen Jones is saying there. So, okay, that sounds like the usual stuff we're hearing from them. And then I think we heard a little bit of a different... I want you to tell me what you think about this, baby, because Jerry Jones, spoke on 105 through the Fan, and he was asked about, does it make sense? Does it make sense for the Cowboys to extend Dak Prescott today at a price that would look favorable in 2 years? So that question was asked. Jerry Jones said, quote, "Unless you'd have to cut 4 players right now to do that right now, and no, I'm going to use those 4 players to win now." End quote. What do you think, baby?
I mean, I kind of get what he's trying to say, and
at
honestly,
this point, right now, at this moment,
and honestly, that just makes me think that it almost doesn't matter what's happening right now. The Cowboys don't seem to plan on extending Dak until I think the end of the season. You know what I mean? Like it does.
I'd say middle or end of the season,
but it seems like they're making it very clear that extending Dak is the plan, is the long-term goal. So you get they're not even pretending or being cute about it. They're just straight up consistently saying, again, for months now, that this is the plan. So let's not be surprised when that ends up being the plan. I think it's more the timing of it. And I think that's what Jerry's implying here, too, that it seems to be if you want me to do this right now, we'd have to, get rid of 4 bodies. But
dropping
I
bodies.
mean, we could do it right now if it has to be now. So
Yeah.
it sounds like it's more of a timing issue.
Listen,
and I have to imagine the thing they're waiting for is next year. That's just my opinion.
Listen, some people are going to say the Trey Lance move puts the pressure on Dak. They're trying to add more pressure now. Maybe a little switch that. Hey, look, the first time. I'm trying to say the significance of this. The significance. They're all putting up maybe there. But the significance here when it comes to Jerry Jones saying this is that, it's more like when there's the first time they're not saying, yes, we're signing him. Like we're re-signing him and extending him. They're saying, well, we're not going to cut 4 people to extend Dak Prescott at this moment, right now. That's the pies, it's so much pie we have left, that kind of crap from this front office. It's that clown show stuff. The reason I say that is because I know we can very well pay Dak Prescott, extend him right now. If the Cowboys wanted to, they could. So don't think that that's something they can't do. There's 2 reasons for this, I believe, and one of them is the Cowboy front office don't feel it's that big of a deal to wait even a couple months more and see how Dak does this year. I'm sure there's some of that in there. And, I think it's also they're trying to play that same old game. Like, hey, we'll keep looking like we're going to play hardball with these guys. And in the end, they're not. And I know it. We know it here on MCF. I'm sure Dak knows it by now. So unless Dak has some kind of a horrible season, I don't think he is not going to get that big deal from, the big extension. Now, will it be over $55 million? No. Will it be over, $52.5 million in Herbert? Maybe. That'd be the most it would go. Would I agree with it? I don't know. The plan is what's next, and according to Jerry Jones, we're going to keep this crew together for the next 3-4 years. Mark Hovsepian. This is the drop of the week here. Ties it with Skeptical Fan, I think, here. Mark Hovsepian with that $20 holler, and now the man, he's going up this chart real fast. He may be close to the lead right now.
Bossing that stream around.
Oh, yes, the takeover.
He said JJ is full of it. You redo Dak's contract tomorrow, you lose no one, and actually get cap space.
Thank you.
Signing him now will be cheaper than a year later. Correct. Unless he's scared of injury or he sucks and he has doubts. I think the first part is the more likely answer just because one of the crappy things about Dak, at least in the last handful of years, has actually been how banged up he has been, right? He's missed more time. Like, the first 4 years of his career,
no time missed.
Dak basically didn't even sneeze off the field, right? Okay, awesome. But then in the last 3 years specifically, since 2020, I remember we talked about this, it was somewhat recently because it's still relatively fresh in my mind, but Dak missed something like half the games in the last 3 years, right? There you go. Thank you, Lil. 18 games since then. So, and obviously it's not like it was for bullshit reasons, right? He broke his leg, whatever, this past season with the 6 games. 5 games, 6 games?
5 games.
There we go.
But he left halfway through.
It is just really unfortunate because that to me was one of Dak's kind of selling points, upsides. Obviously injuries catch up to us all, but Dak being so reliable and sturdy, was one of the more, nice parts about him, especially in those early days when we were kind of used to Romo going down at every blink in his direction. So
yeah,
I have to imagine maybe it is the injury situation before they lock down so much money. They want to make sure that maybe he can last through a full season.
It could be that. It could be make sure he's playing to the level of McCarthy's offense. I think a lot of this relies. I do agree with a lot of people.
That's right, the broken thumb. I forgot about that.
No, I said that's what took him out for the 5 weeks last year.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So I'm just saying what I'm trying to say here is that, like Mark Hovsepian is saying, it's actually better if you sign him now. The Cowboys are maybe looking at the Niners and saying, we can work something out with a Trey Lance type guy and just get him a cheaper deal, and in 2 years, and then we're done with Dak. And the high priced quarterbacks, kind of like the high priced running backs. So I don't know. It's just a thought, but the reality is, again, the Joneses are saying constantly they want to sign him. Then they should sign. If they really want to sign Dak, baby, you remember this? We said this 5 years ago when Dak was on his rookie contract, that the Cowboys keep saying he's a franchise quarterback for this team, the face of the franchise. Then why didn't they sign them? And they signed them anyways, right? That is. I think Mark knows what this word is going to be, right? That's the fucking clown show. Clown show. I'm saying Remember 5 years ago when we were talking about 2018 and 2019, why are we not signing Dak? Let's get it done, because if you're sure, get it done. It's going to be, we would have had $30 million. The clown show. You see, and now, again, you might say, well, we played hardball and we didn't sign him. Well, no, we played hardball and we lost. We lost not just with Dak, we lost just with the freaking market, the quarterback market. You can't gamble with that, because that's going to keep going up, especially at this point. So you want to pay, $50 million now, you want to pay $55 million later. That's what it's going to come down to for Jerry Jones. So that's why right now you can push the money forward. You can make more cap room now. You can, if you really want to win now, the Cowboys could pick up more players right now if they wanted to and get the Dak deal done, and they could sign 2 more players. We can sign freaking Reisner. He even plays for 4 games. So what? At least we got someone there for 4 games. We could play around with money and win a fucking Super Bowl. Fuck around, find out. But these guys won't do it. And it's not like we're auctioning off our fucking lives here. Yeah. We're talking about 1-year deals with some of these guys that you open up with even more money you can have to roll over for guys now if you want, or guys in the future. Either way, clown show crap. It is what it is. Now, Dak Prescott, I'm going to say this, with this kind of comment from Jerry Jones, I understand what he's saying. Like right now, you're not going to cut 4 good players to give Dak his money. But again, that's not what the correlation is not real. The only people that fall for this are like the general fans that don't really know how the contracts work. So he fools the not as, I guess the more naive Cowboy fans out there, not us hardened Cowboy fans here on MCF. So, but listen to this. Tony Dungy on the NBC halftime show. Of course, they're promoting the Cowboy-Giant game. And this was yesterday. He said this about the matchup between the Cowboys and Giants. Quote, "I think Dak has a great advantage this year. Mike McCarthy will be calling the plays, and McCarthy is a great play caller. I expect him to take the pressure off of Dak. I can't wait to see what the Cowboys offense looks like with Mike McCarthy calling these plays." And I'm there with him. So we'll see what happens when it comes to Dak over the last...
I'm definitely feeling more positive about it.
Yeah,
so,
look,
I also am looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to seeing how the Dak runs. If you don't make mistakes, we will win games. That goes for Dak, the running backs, the receivers dropping passes, all that good shit. Everyone plays well. I think under McCarthy's scheme and plan, all right, we might have to punt here and there. We got to get top 3 defense easy right now. Over the last 3 years, Dak Prescott has been 4th in QBR versus the blitz. And Wink Martindale with the Giants, they love blitzing. Giants defense led the league in blitzing last year. And they sent extra rushers 63% of the time the last time they played Dak Prescott. So Dak will destroy them. Yeah, I'm talking about Dak Prescott in a quick shooting McCarthy offense. Let them blitz. Let Wink Martindale and the Giants defense blitz. Dak will just fucking carve you up. Might get 400 yards. I don't know. Maybe he'll pull 400 yards. Who knows? Mark Hovsepian, I know what he's pulling. That 5 on it.
Ooh. The
$5 holler by the man, Mark Hovsepian.
Mahalo, Mark. Once again, you know what he said?
I know he's in first place.
Taking over. He said, Dak proved one thing. He will not sign team-friendly deals. If a quarterback signs for $60 million, he will want $60 million now. Don't let another team set the bar, clown show.
I agree with that part about not letting other teams set the bar. All of the teams, I think that there's a level where... And I was saying this last night, Mark, I don't know if you heard me, but Dak Prescott getting a contract now is different than Dak Prescott getting a contract off his rookie year, rookie deal. Same thing as, let's say, Joe Burrow, who's getting that big deal off his first big contract, right? The Josh Allen's getting their first big contracts now. So these numbers are getting pushed up. Justin Herbert getting a big contract now. Now, Herbert made it and didn't come close to the Super Bowl. Neither Lamar Jackson. They both got $52 million. So... Dak can say, I want $52 million. I guess that's the most he'll get. I don't think he'll get 56, is my point. Dak, I don't think, wants to be necessarily the highest paid guy at this point. I think that it comes to kind of common sense that he will not get the Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's here for that contract is for the future. That's when Dak got the 40, that was the big contract, right? That's the Joe Burrow situation now at $55 million. Talking about what? 3 years later, guys? I told you. I told everybody this was going to happen. 2 years later, I told you. So now... What's going to happen in 2 more years? It might not be another 15 million jump. It might be 10 million. But the point is, do you want to go that route? Do you want to keep waiting another year or two? Or do you want to just, if Jerry Jones is truly serious about it and he should do this deal, extend him now for probably 53 million at most per year? But these guys now, they want the 5-year deals. The Cowboys want a 5-year deal with Dak Prescott. You can make it maybe a 4-year deal and leave the last 2 on the contract that's 6 years from here. and that kind of takes them to the end or towards the twilight where now the money goes down. But that's what we're rolling with right here, guys. That's the way Jerry Jones at least looks like he's going to roll. So any quick comments in the chat maybe before really quickly, because Marco said dropping the knowledge here.
Of course,
taking over.
I see Jeff. I'm assuming. I mean, it seems like he agrees with Mark. He said the team is stacked. No excuses this year for Dak if the team stays healthy.
Yeah, I mean, offensive line is already breaking down. So I'm not saying that's an excuse, but that hinders Dak. It hinders Tony Pollard. It hinders Mike McCarthy's game plan.
Now, Drums and Cowboys said, I agree with Hosepian. Prescott got a favorable contract even though he had a bad injury. It's time to play the same game. Don't extend him if there's no NFC Championship game.
And that's a point that I think we've all said this to ourselves or out loud.
I don't know if I'm willing to die on that hill, but even I agree with the comment. You know what I mean? I don't know if I would, if when push comes to shove, would you actually do it or whatever? I would definitely threaten it. I would, we'd have to push it. We'd have to use it as a negotiation tactic. So hopefully it doesn't come to having to pull the trigger, though.
Yeah,
but
I hear. Hey, listen, Jerry's saying to try and keep them all together. I'm going to say one last thing, and then we're going to move on because we'll be here forever, probably. But I'm going to throw it out there, but if Mike McCarthy's offensive scheme, think about this scheme for a second. This could something be that maybe Jerry and Mike McCarthy spoke upon. But if the scheme of Mike McCarthy is made for an easier situation and you could just have a bus driver, then maybe they know something we don't know. Hey, if you just need an average quarterback in there, you don't need Dak is better than what we need. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Dak is too good for what the Cowboys need, and maybe McCarthy's scheme will show that this year. Dak will do great. Does that mean we have to keep Dak for $55 million, or can we go with somebody for $30 million? You guys understand what I'm trying to say here? Marco Sipian dropping a $5 holler.
Ooh.
And a Go Cowboys. What did he have to say?
Mark. Another mahalo. He said, when I hear Wink Martindale, I think of tic-tac.
Thank you. I can't get that out of my mind. Me too. I've said this. I think people don't. I think you don't even understand what that means, do you? Because I used to say this all the time when we played him last year, and I kept saying that's the game show host. And yeah, Mark knows. Anyways, good. I'm sorry. What did he say?
So he said, when I hear Wink Martindale, I think of tic-tac-toe. Remember him, Mr. MCF,
yes.
The game show from the 80s? Dak has elite talent, and he still loses in the playoffs.
Well, I won't say he loses. I say the team loses.
Exactly.
It's not just on Dak.
It was a team effort. Dak contributed, right?
For sure.
No one's taking that away from him.
For fucking sure.
But yes, last time I checked, there were not 11 Dak Prescotts on the field at the same time, so it was a team effort, team loss.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, some of that you could say is definitely on Dak. Some of it's on Kellen Moore. Some of it's on, I'm going to blame Jerry Jones to some extent because he's kept that Kellen Moore shit going. And he's getting his dirty little hands involved. At least Mike McCarthy's buffering that a little better now. And I have confidence it will help. The scheme will help Dak Prescott and the offense. And that's why I keep reiterating. It's kind of thought about this live on stream right now. But if McCarthy has a scheme that's easy for any quarterback to jump in and kind of flow with, then 2 years from now we might not have Dak Prescott as our quarterback. That's all I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that it's a good move, bad move. I'm just saying if the way the Joneses may be thinking, maybe that's what they're putting on the table. So who knows? Who knows what's going through Jerry Jones's crazy little mind? But that wasn't it. It wasn't just about Dak Prescott, baby. He spoke about a lot of details about injuries. And that's what we're going to move to now. Injuries on this team. I know Mark asked earlier about it.
Which does go hand in hand with the Dak Prescott discussion.
For sure.
Since, like we said, it was the Smiths who are now... that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's the Smiths who are now causing us
Smith and Smith,
chaos.
left side, offensive line, Smith and Smith, Tyler Smith and Tyron Smith. Jerry Jones gave updates this morning. We're going to give you more updates. But Jerry Jones gave his own set of updates this morning on both these guys. And I was going to say, what did they say? But, baby, first let's hear what Marco Sipian has to say. He just dropped the 5 on it.
Woo.
A $5 holler like that. What did the man say?
Dak's had elite offensive line, running back, and good defenses, and solid wide receivers, and still lost. Exactly. You get a $20 million QB, you have money freed up to get an elite playmaker, no more bullshit.
I'm saying, if that's the offensive scheme we're running and anybody can do that, then that fits the second part. As far as Dak losing it, listen, I don't agree with that. I think Dak can only do so much. When he has receivers going to the sticks and turning around, there's just nothing you can do. It's Kellen Moore's. It's not even the receivers. It's Kellen Moore's fault. And if you don't adjust when you have an offensive line, it's Kellen Moore's fault, not Dak. So that's why it's a team loss. Not just Dak, not just Kellen Moore, not just Mike McCarthy. It's everyone's team loss there. But yes, the second part of that could be a kind of mindset that maybe the Joneses are looking into. If McCarthy's successful with any quarterback type of scheme, we just dish it here, dish it there. You can use Cooper Rush or Trey Lance. If that's the case, if that shows itself this year, then you can see that. Don't be surprised. That would be the only thing that would be like, okay, that might change the trajectory of this thing, and the Joneses might go that route and open up more money, sink in the money they're going to lose with Dak, and then after 2 years of Dak, moving to the next quarterback in that kind of fluid way. But that's if they keep McCarthy. A lot of ifs there. So, and again, this is just me guessing, But Dak, I personally think he's here for good here. So, anyways, sorry, baby, Marco Seppian leading the whole pack there. Much love to Mark, fully loaded, taking over. Now, what did Jerry Jones? Let me get Dak out the way. I got to talk about Jerry Jones and what did he say specifically about these two guys right here, Tyron Smith and Tyler Smith, the left side of our offensive line. Because I'm nervous about this situation. Both you got Tyron Smith with the rolled ankle. You got Tyler Smith with the hamstring pull, the hamstring strain. So what did he say? What did Jerry Jones say about both of these guys today?
Well, they are suspect.
Oh.
Probably Tyler, a little more than Tyron, suspect. Those things, we wait until game day. Right, Marco Seppian?
Game day, we got to wait. But Tyler is more suspect than Tyron. So if I'm going to guess, if anyone's going to miss this game, it's going to be Tyler Smith, which sucks, but probably for the better if he can stay healthy for the season, right? Mark Seppian, what did he have to say, baby? Dropping that 5 on it.
Ooh, once again, mahalo to you, Mark. And he said, yes, it's a team, but I wish I could find this man who broke down Dak. He shows open receivers Dak doesn't see, and bad passes. It really shows everything.
Well, I mean, sometimes it is on Dak, and no doubt on that. I mean, I've seen other video from Kurt Warner that broke down the fact that the play call was horrific, and no quarterback could make that work. So it's both things. I agree. Dak's missing some things here and there, but also a lot of bad situations he's been put in. So it's both. But yeah, I hear you, Mark. Let me know the name of the person that showed that. I would like to check it out. I know the Kurt Warner breakdowns show some positive stuff of Dak and some negative stuff of Dak. It shows exposes everything. The true overall picture of our offense with Dak Prescott and Kellen Moore in it. Anyways, much love, Mark. Fully loaded, of course.
Yes, of course.
So again, back to Tyler and Tyron here. Jerry Jones saying they're suspect, but Tyler is more iffy than Tyron Smith. So what else did he have to say about? I'm sorry, I don't know what else he.
Like I said, I basically only read that first little beginning part there. But Jerry continued on by saying, a lot of people say, why the ambiguity? Well, obviously, soft tissue type injuries, you see how they practice, you see how they rehab during the week.
That's Tyler Smith he's talking about.
So he also said, and then, believe it or not, you walk out there on game day, and there you go out there and try it out, and if it works, they're playing. If it's not, ready to go, or risk further injury, they won't play. So we don't know until we see them.
Okay, so we're getting the doubtful look of Tyler Smith right there. It sounds like that's what Jerry Jones is saying. So again, and you're talking about, backups and that kind of stuff. Jerry Jones continued to talk about that. Yeah,
so he said, not at all. I'd rather have him as a starter with a good plan for backing him up if he does have recurring injuries.
I'm assuming he's talking about
Tyron Smith, not Tyler. He obviously added in there, I'd obviously rather have it that way than not having him there and available to us as a starter. He's certainly worth it. You also take into consideration the beginning of the year as opposed to when we get down to the end of the year. So all those things are under consideration. But when he's there, when he's in the game, when he's healthy, he's sworn that roster spot and worth the money we're paying him.
I'm telling you, I mean, with no question, he's worth the roster spot and the money when he's healthy, which is always the big catch there. Right? Oh, my guy, Motor City Maniac in the house.
Woo.
What did he drop? He dropped that 5 on it. On the board for the first time. Much love to Motor City.
Cracking me up.
Congrats to his Detroit Lions, by the way. Impressive win, baby. You picked the Lions last night.
I did.
Proudly, too.
And you can bet your ass I'm feeling very, very good about that.
You were bragging at work today.
I was bragging at work.
To everyone. Much love, Motor City.
I'm very proud. But thank you, Motor City. He said, with his $5 holler, I can finally say the Lions are number one in the NFL for the first time for at least another day.
That's a funny statement because, yes, they are currently they're the number one team in the NFL, NFC, NFC North. They're number one in every category, and the Chiefs are the worst team in the NFL right now. Much love, Motor City. Appreciate you. And I'm going to put you up on that board here in a couple of minutes. So much love, Motor. And, yeah, man, cannot do this without you guys love and support. He's one of my poker buddies over there on the multiple other channels that we roam around from the MCF crew here. So,
and I guess enjoy the next 24 hours because Lions being number one in the
probably.
NFL will not happen again.
But it's the first time.
It's going to be like a whole solar
That is true, though.
That.
It must be since like the 50s, and the last time the Lions are first place in the whole NFL. It's been that long. Much love, Motor City, and we put them on the board here and hit up a couple of comments. I don't know if we hit all the quotes from the Joneses or. I think you're still.
I would say I think I still have like one or two.
No, I think you. Yeah, I don't know if you have it or not, but I'm going to update the board here. Motor City, getting them up on there.
Oh, so but yeah, let me just double check because I'm almost positive I did have like one or two little Joneses related things here. Let me just see here. No, you're right. I think we did touch on pretty much everything.
All right, then we're good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So, I was going to say, we actually did touch on those Jerry comments and the Steven comments.
So we're all caught up.
As far as the front office, the big kahunas,
those are the updates right there with Smith & Smith from Jerry Jones. That was this morning. And we got more updates as the day went on. So let's keep it going because not much on the practice today. It was funny. They kept kind of seemed like the Jerry, like McCarthy kept the practices kind of, low key and away from the media. It seemed like so we had McCarthy out there doing his, his daily press conference. Now let me remind everybody that the Chiefs it's a great kind of lead in from Motor City because he's a Detroit Lion fan. The Detroit Lions went into Kansas City on their ring ceremony night and beat the Chiefs. That game, guys, Lions and Chiefs on NBC and on Peacock is the entire media's most watched TV show, I guess you can say, since Super Bowl 57. This averaged 27 million viewers. People want their football. And it was a good game, too. So, again, a lot of people watching, guys. A lot of people. Millions and millions. 27 million people watching the first kickoff game here at Chiefs and Lions game. So, now, McCarthy was asked about this, guys. He said he did not watch. He was not one of those 27 million people. He did not watch the game last night. He said, quote, "I was working on my new job, play calling." True. I'm down with that. McCarthy also said that I do want to make sure everyone understands, there is actually a rain forecast, all right? Rain forecasted for the game. And I think somebody said it the other night. I forgot who said it in the chat. And I was going to bring it up. But now that we know it's more certain, I'll explain in a minute here. But Mike McCarthy said on this rain, quote, "It's something you always have to be aware of, especially when you travel north. The weather is part of your breakdown." So again, the way the Cowboys kind of practiced is the quarterbacks and the centers did a wet ball drill at the end of yesterday's practice. Ball,
to simulate rainy conditions.
Yeah, so you got to make sure it don't slip out. Dak and the quarterbacks got to make sure they get to secure that the center snap.
The fact that McCarthy was basically just like, I'm 3 steps ahead of you.
Yeah, I don't know if
very prepared.
I like that. And again, we got to move guys up and elevate them. You can bet your ass going to be an offensive lineman. I believe it'll be someone like Brock Hoffman or someone like this. But the other guy is going to be C.J. Goodwin. And I said this last night as a guest, and McCarthy kind of backed me up today. He said that C.J. Goodwin's going to be elevated on Saturday from the practice squad, and he will be the special teams captain in this game against the Giants, C.J. Goodwin. McCarthy said, quote, "That tells you what we think of him here. He's a natural leader, just an incredible football player." And again, he said it's overdue for his first Pro Bowl selection, according to McCarthy, when it comes to being, the special teams choice. He's pushing for C.J. Goodwin. No question, guys. Every year, he's
basically
ace.
The old reliable of special teams, right?
It wasn't Kelvin Joseph. It's C.J. Goodwin. And that's why he's on our practice squad.
Which is funny because, in the beginning, like when the first year or two we did it, we're like, oh, okay, yeah, fine. But we kind of all expected it to end there, right?
Yeah.
In a weird way. So, and it just kind of has kept going. So, yeah.
Yeah, so good. Great, actually. We always love that. Now, going back to the weather for a second, guys. The current hourly breakdown for the rain in East Rutherford, New Jersey, for Sunday evening, according to the National Weather Service, which was, again, putting this at kickoff at 8:20. Thunderstorms are chances between 30 and 50% pretty much throughout the entire game. The entire game. Rain. Now, right now it says it's going to be 81 degrees at that. Oh, I don't know if it's 81. Yeah, it's going to be 81 degrees at night. Scattered thunderstorms. Precipitation is going to be 70%. So we'll just look at this here from, let's say, 8:20 Eastern time. You're looking at 70% chance of rain and thunderstorms. 9 o'clock, same thing. 10 o'clock, same thing. 11 o'clock, it starts to get a little bit less in the rain, but still thunderstorms. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be by then, it's going to be 76, 75, 74 degrees. So I'm just saying, guys, that doesn't look good for when it comes to the rain. The rain's going to come to about, they said about 0.33 inches, which is not a little bit. And it's not, the rain's not going to, like, the rain's going to have to be something you have to play through. But, you know, I'm going to say one thing, because it does say thunderstorms. The Cowboys-Giant game might have to get delayed to another day. And I'm not saying this lightly. I'm saying that this, if it is looking like it's looking right now, and these thunderstorms really are on since 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I think they slow down at 7. And then at 8 and beyond till midnight, it's thunderstorms now. Depends where exactly it is. We're talking about, this is the East Rutherford map here. So I'm expecting to see our Cowboys play Sunday night. I'm not even thinking about this, but it is something we have to at least talk about for a second, right?
I mean, honestly, I'm hoping at most maybe it's just a bit of a delay if there's still maybe some weather that could, you know, turn tricky in the middle of the game or something like that.
Things changed a lot in 48 hours as well, but if this thing hits and we're in the middle of a thunderstorm for 4 hours, there ain't no game going down, is my point.
I agree.
And that's how it sucked, but we have to wait another day. And I talk about Christmas getting delayed, like you said. Man. So McCarthy was asked again, kind of made a joke. He was on 105 through the fan. He was asked if he hears all the noise about you said it yourself, hot seat. He said, quote, "I just feel the love, brother. I don't know what you're talking about." Kind of making a joke there. He said, quote, "It's part of the ride. It's part of the responsibility. It's definitely part of the responsibility of being a head coach in this league, and definitely part of being the responsibility of being a head coach of the Dallas Cowboys." So now he gave us a straight up answer on Tyler Smith and Tyron Smith. Again, from Heat, what his thoughts were. Does it match up with Jerry Jones' thoughts about that Tyron is less of a worry than Tyler Smith?
Yes. So as far as playing, I don't know about long term, but we're talking tomorrow.
Right. So again, McCarthy was asked about Tyron Smith's ankle injury, the rolled on ankle. He said, quote, "We'll know more today, but I think we'll be okay there." Now, I've heard McCarthy say that, and the Cowboys were not okay, and eventually, but this is now backed up by a couple of people. I think this is a truly minor. It was a minor, ankle rolled on injury yesterday. I think that it's just more confirmed today after hearing this from Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy. Now, what about Tyler Smith? He said, as far as Tyler Smith was concerned, had the hamstring strain. He said his availability for Sunday still remains in question. So just like Jerry Jones said, like a little bit less of a chance for Tyler Smith, that all matches up. It's matching up from Jerry and Mike. Isn't that nice to have everything at least in order, in line, and nobody like trying to, I don't know, make the other person look like be wrong. It always happens that someone's saying something different, right? So when it comes to Tyron Smith and the Tyler Smith injury, guys, you got to remember they were both part of the mock game. They had a mock game, so it was a walkthrough today. Today was a walk. Yesterday, I want people to understand, when Tyron Smith got injured, that was yesterday. And yesterday, it was all full pads. Today, it was a walkthrough. Makes a little more sense. Yeah, today was a walkthrough. But the point here, McCarthy said that both these guys were part of the mock walkthrough today, and both are scheduled to be limited tomorrow. Which, again, guys, tomorrow is important to note because tomorrow's the Saturday. Tomorrow's the day we'll get the true ability to see if these guys can practice at all or not. That's the true go or no kind of situation. But according to McCarthy, on both these guys, quote, "We're making progress." Doesn't mean they're going to play yet, but they're making progress. He does anticipate each of those guys, McCarthy said, practicing in a limited fashion tomorrow, Saturday. That again, now it's going to be how limited? If Tyler Smith can only just kind of walk on the field, I don't know if that's going to be enough. If Tyron Smith's out there moving around better, then he's good to go. But Tyler Smith won't be. So according to McCarthy, he said, quote, "The reality of it is that if they don't take the necessary reps tomorrow," and he said necessary reps, if they don't take the necessary reps tomorrow, it'll tell us a lot. So if he needs him out there for 20 snaps and there's really tightness for Tyler Smith after 3, he ain't playing. You guys feel me on this? So that's the way it's going. That's the way I'm breaking it down from what McCarthy's saying. And he said if they can't do anything in practice, and I'm saying here, I'm going to say his words, and this, if they can't do the necessary reps that he's going to require of these guys in practice tomorrow, they will not play against the Giants. And if they can't go, he did give us a couple of names. We talked about T.J. Bass, but it sounds like he's the third option here. The guys in front of him, Chuma Edoga, the veteran, formerly of the Jets, and Awesome Richards, the rookie fifth rounder. These are the two guys that will play. It looks like it will be Chuma Edoga would be left tackle, so keep that in mind. And at left guard, it will be Awesome Richards, the rookie. That'd be a very, very iffy left side. Now, let's move on to another guy here that's been injured, and we got to take a closer look at him, especially after this, because Donovan Wilson, he has that calf strain. He's been out for like 4 weeks, right? Getting back on that field, according to McCarthy, going to practice on a limited basis as well. So he's going to be on a limited basis. So are the two linemen. According to Mike McCarthy, quote, we're making progress with Don, right? And he's not practiced. Again, he has not officially practiced, guys, since the first day of his camp when he got hurt.
Okay.
If he's active, he would probably be on a pitch count, according to McCarthy. So don't expect to see much from Wilson.
Very, very similar to basically any guy coming back from a multi-week injury, right? We're not just going to throw him right into the shark-infested waters. We'll give him a floaty first before we throw him into the shark-infested waters.
Yeah, basically that's going to happen. Now, I will say, we also do know that when it comes to the injury report, let's go through it here because this is the big one today. Kind of gives you the game status for these guys. Mm-hmm. So let's go through a couple of these. Let's start with the good news first, and it's not, unfortunately, Donovan Wilson. It is Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis, guys, with the foot injury, full practice all week.
Finally, some good news.
Full go for the game. No injury designation. But I'm still hearing. Don't hold your breath. He might not play this game.
No, I'm just saying, it's kind of disappointing considering I was just like, oh, yeah, he's very good.
I don't really blame him on this. We seem good to go there for this first game, but, if anybody goes down that starting three, we got to have issues then. So
he's just kind of on reserve for this particular moment.
Maybe just one more week. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. He might be one of the inactives. So Jordan Lewis, if he's able to play, he can play. He has no injury designation. He's good to go. So this week or next week is when I expect to see Jordan Lewis. So another guy on this list here, which again we're going to go with, how about Sam Williams, baby? I don't want to talk much about him. McCarthy barely talked about him. Mm-hmm. Sam Williams, guys, on this list right now, involved in the mock game and everything. Sam Williams with the foot injury did not practice on Wednesday, was limited yesterday. Today was full practice. He is still listed as questionable, unfortunately.
But still, at least he's trending in the right direction.
To me, he's a questionable, but will probably play. That's what it's looking like to me. That's what I feel about him. So it looks like we'll get, again, like I said this all week, some basic kind of, snap counts from him. You might have had 25 before this injury. You might get 15 now with Sam Williams in this game. Sam Williams, to me, again, not a go, but looking closer to a go. Good news on him there for sure. Now, we also, of course, look at our offensive linemen. Starting with Tyron Smith, the old guy, always gets injured, but he has a better chance according to the Joneses, according to Mike McCarthy's. Tyron Smith, guys, and again, Tyler Smith as well, are both part of the mock game. And I'll explain more what's going to happen going forward, but Tyron Smith was listed as questionable. He was limited yesterday. He was limited on Friday. So, again, he got injured yesterday. So at least he was able to get the good news about being limited. He got back on the field after leaving yesterday because he was limited because he got rolled on. So that's a great sign there for Tyron Smith in playing this game. I think he will play. He's questionable as well. We're good. I think we're on the right track with him. Now, we got Tyler Smith, who today did not practice at all, was listed as a not practice as well. Basically 3 days in a row did not practice. Tyler Smith being listed as doubtful. Now, let me just tell you guys a little secret here about doubtful. Like one player in 10 years has played a game being on the doubtful. Kind of thing.
Doubtful tends to mean 99% not playing.
Yeah, I would say 99 for sure. He's not going to play Tyler Smith. He's doubtful, but he's not the only one. That's the problem. Unfortunately, guys, Donovan Wilson is also doubtful. Did not practice today.
I have to admit, that's the one that almost hurts a little bit more, just because I think most of us were, some of the comments were made and some of the things we had seen so far, like we were kind of hoping he was going to be a little bit closer to this point.
Yeah.
But I'm still not necessarily surprised by it. Just kind of sad.
The way that Mike McCarthy kept talking about it this week, saying, we'll have, like last week he said we'll have more on Monday. He didn't really tell us much. Then on Monday he said we'll have more later on in the week. And when I hear that, I'm thinking this guy's I said it earlier in the week, I was like, watch him not play. It don't look good for him playing. Another 99% he's out for this game, which to me is major. Because remember, his job is to what? To shadow Daniel Jones, to shadow him from running, to make sure. I mean, you know this, right? I mean, we saw this last year. So, yeah, shadowing him. Number 6 will not be out there. Looks like that's a big loss. That was to me more surprising, I guess, than Tyler Smith, because I knew probably one of these guys were not going to play as an offensive line. But Donovan Wilson, I think we needed him for this matchup. Look, who plays that spot? We'll talk about that tomorrow and you know, of course, game day. But I think Marquise Bell gets some snaps there. I think you get some other help from other guys. Israel Mukwamu.
Marquise Bell is probably feeling like the man right now, because he has a really big chance here to, you know, take a huge jump. In a variety of positions. Apparently.
His speed and his explosion is what kind of matches that. But Overshown would have been probably doing that right now. But to me, it's going to be someone like a safety linebacker hybrid guy, which to me leaves me. It could be Curse, but he's going to be taking care of Waller if Waller plays. I'll explain in a minute. I think you're going to see something like a situation where you'll see the Donovan Wilson replacement of shadowing Daniel Jones to go into like Marquise Bell. Because he has the speed, he has the explosion to hit him and the power to take him down. Because Daniel Jones is a big player, so big quarterback. So important you get a guy that can hit and tackle. So anyways, we'll see what happens. But Donovan Smith does not look good to play this game against the Giants. So I just want to go back real quick to Tyler Smith and all these guys. Here's the deal, guys. All 3 of these guys, actually, Donovan Smith as well, Donovan Wilson as well. According to a lot of different things that we were hearing, Tyron Smith and Tyler Smith are going to be participating in tomorrow's walkthrough.
So this is part of their, I guess, process of determination.
Yeah, at this point, he's doubtful for Tyler Smith, and Tyron Smith will probably play, assuming there's no setback for him. He'll definitely play, I think, Tyron Smith, which is great news. We've got to fill in one spot. Might be Mr. Richards, the rookie. So then you have the situation of Tyler Smith. For some reason, he has a really good practice tomorrow, and he's able to do everything. He will still be maybe questionable. He might be upgraded to questionable. And that has happened before, so keep that in mind. So keep those guys in watch there. And again, when it comes to Donovan Wilson, one last thing I want to say about him, the same situation for him. This is very important, guys. According to McCarthy, he's going to, quote, do more on Saturday. So that is a good sign for him, you know, hopefully being able to, you know, maybe able to play in this game some snaps. I don't know. But the point is this is pitch count, and it'll be a transition period for Donovan Wilson if he even plays against the Giants. If he even gets on that field, which he probably won't, they're going to ease him back in on the pitch count. Instead of having, he might be on there just third downs, watching Daniel Jones. You know what I mean? Playing that spy spot. So we'll see what happens. By the way, another kind of, I don't want to say development, but just a side note here. And again, we hope everything is good with this guy. But our running backs coach. Jeff Blasco is on a health leave of absence.
That's really unfortunate. I hope he's doing okay or family or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it may be, we don't know. But the point here is his duties, according to the Cowboys, will be split up through some coaches. And it's going to be interesting to see how they do that. The running back duties, to me, it's going to be Mike Soliari, the offensive line coach, and Brian Schottenheimer, the offensive coordinator. They'll probably be taking the leadership there. They'll probably take the role as the running backs coach while Jeff Blasco is gone. So, anyways, that's the update there. Now, I can talk about the Giants because they do have some injuries, so I could go into that real quick. I know you have some players that spoke.
Yes.
Touched on a couple of things here real quick, but let's help the chat while we transition ourselves.
And Cassie Stewart, shout out. She was asking earlier, why is Tyron Smith so banged up all the time?
Trust
so,
me,
and yeah, somebody just kind of said in the chat, definitely Father Time is not kind to all of us in the same way. Tyron Smith definitely got the shorter end of that stick because he has been basically nonstop, constantly injured for the last, 7 years. So it just really sucks. But the funny thing is, he is so talented. Even with all those injuries and all that situation, we still want him on the team.
Yeah.
We still need him on the team. And we're still very, very glad to have him on the team, even with all that there. So our biggest problem with that is more the fact that the Cowboys continue to ignore the fact that Tyron is going to go down.
Yeah,
so
that's the
not
worrisome
so much the
part.
fact that he keeps going down, right? So rolling back a little bit more. And by the way, guys, as I am rolling back here, make sure to take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily. The link for the Discord is in the description box down below. So, going back a little bit more, let me see. Madman said this game could have been a blowout if all the players are healthy, but now it's going to be a close game.
Yeah. Definitely going to make it closer for both sides.
I mean, I can't disagree with that. So, Rolando Rodriguez, hello and hi. Take it easy.
Much love, Rolando. New member in the Navy Blue Crew.
Let me see here. No, I think we touched on most of the comments.
Any quick shout-outs on some people in the house?
I think we got everybody, but Jeff Coughlin said the Cowboys are healthy enough to beat the Giants.
That I agree with, even with the bangs and bruises and injuries we do have. You know, I'm going to finish hitting this up, and then we hit the players real quick. I know you have a couple quick thoughts from the players, but the Giants, there's an issue going on with them, in my opinion, when it comes to the tight end situation. The Darren Waller, guys. Today's final injury report came out, and he got hurt in practice today. He had a hamstring issue. Now, we just talked about hamstring for half an hour with Tyler Smith. You know how that can really slow a player down. So now Darren Waller all of a sudden was limited today in practice, had a hamstring. He is listed as questionable for the game tomorrow. For the game against the Cowboys Sunday night. It doesn't look good for him. I'm gonna be honest. When you get an injury like this, soft tissue injury, 2 days turnaround. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hope he plays. I don't want to hear any excuses from the Giants, but then you can see maybe it's J-Ron Kearse helping out, doing that same role of stopping, kind of maybe spying Daniel Jones. If you don't have Darren Waller there, you don't have to do that. Bellinger is really good too. So you still might want to keep someone on him, but it won't have to be like one of your best players, like running that defensive backfield there, like J-Ron Kearse. So we'll see how that works. We can maybe use Damone Clark on Bellinger or something like that. Anyways, very big development there on the Giants side on the injury report. They also had a bunch of guys here. Again, Gary Brightwell, running back, and Lawrence Kager, tight end. They're both good to go for the game. But they had a couple of guys that were questionable outside of Darren Waller. They had a knee issue with DJ Davidson, defensive lineman, and Cam Brown, linebacker, also was questionable with an ankle. The ones that were bigger are the doubtful guys in this list. Cordell Flatt, defensive back. I think he's like their backup there. Hamstring, he's doubtful for the game. Javarius Owens, who's also was limited all week, like both guys were. Another defensive back, doubtful. So they're very light in the secondary. One of my matchups to watch in this game. Wan'Dale Robinson, the last guy here, one of their receivers. That's why you might see more Jalen Hyatt. Yes. Wan'Dale Robinson with the knee, he's doubtful as well. He had a knee issue as well. All three of these guys limited all week. They probably won't play. And I don't know if Darren Waller is going to get on that field as well. So he was experiencing some hamstring tightness late, on Friday's practice. And it was not just an incident from this practice. It was something that was bothering him all week, and he kept pushing it. So Darren Waller looks like he might have to take this game off. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But he was moving on the sideline pretty well. So that's a positive sign he'll play. Again, let me reiterate this.
Progress.
I want him to play. I know it'll make it easier for us, yes. But I don't hear no excuse. I want to beat a team at their full strength, at our full strength, as much as we can get there, I guess you can say. And Wan'Dale Robinson will not, again, he's doubtful. But again, a lot of guys are doubtful on their side, and we have two guys on our side. Most of these guys will never play on a doubtful tag, on a doubtful, injury status. But he's coming. But Wan'Dale Robinson's coming back from his torn ACL from last year, so he's one of those three players listed as doubtful for the Giants. So I just want to give the quick update on the Giant injuries there. And we talked about this entire week about the battle back and forth between the offense and defense. We talked yesterday defense. On Tuesday we talked offense. Just really quickly, I know you love this, maybe special teams. Brandon Aubrey. All right, obviously going to go college USFL. We'll see how he does in this game tomorrow. I keep saying tomorrow. which I guess it technically is.
I
Saturday.
know. For us, yeah. For us, it's already...
Yeah.
Time is a social construct.
Yeah. So we'll see how that happens, guys. With the Giants, as a kicker, they have Graham Gano, who's one of the most established kickers in the league. He ended last year ranking 8th in field goal accuracy. He was 8 of 9 on kicks from 50 yards or farther. I wish we had something like that, right? But we have Brandon Aubrey. I will say also today, and this is interesting, today Graham Gano got paid $16.5 million over 3 years. He got a contract extension. Kicker, $16.5 million for 3 more years. A little more than $11.3 million that was fully guaranteed. So again, a good kicker.
Must be nice.
A good kicker. You pay the guy, right? Yeah, we can't do that. Punting.
Well, first, you got to find a good kicker first.
Great
good
point.
At least from the Cowboys' perspective, anyway.
Great point. For punting, of course, we got Brian Anger, a Pro Bowler 2 years ago. Longer punt average than the Giants punter, Jamie Gillian. Anger averaged 2 yards more per punt last year, and his attempts, he had his attempts inside the 20. His attempts inside the 20. He had it as well many more times than the Giants punter. So we got obviously the better punter here. As far as return specialists, we have Kevontae Turpin. He's doing both kickoff and punt returns. And you got Deuce Vaughn running the backup role on that side of things for us. The Giants, they're going to use their rookie running back, Eric Gray, from Oklahoma. Some of you guys know him from college there. So Turpin averaged 10.4 yards last year, ranked 11th in the NFL. He had a 52-yard punt return. That was the 4th longest last year. And, of course, he also had a 63-yard kickoff return. That was the 10th longest last year. Eric Gray, on the other hand, again, rookie. He's made 3 punt returns in preseason games, and he's averaging 5.7 yards in the NFL in 3 preseason games. That's what we're looking at special teams-wise versus the Giants when it comes to those matchups. Now, again, I'm sitting here, I could talk about different... we're going to dive a lot deeper in the Giants kind of discussion here. Last year, the Cowboys rushed for an average of 131 yards per game on offense, the 9th most in the NFL. The Giants allowed 146 rushing yards per game, 5th worst in the NFL. So you get my picture here. They definitely, we talked about it yesterday, how they improved their defense, the interior defensive lineman, tackles, and linebacker. They might still be soft there. Let's test them. Mm-hmm. And then, DeMarcus Lawrence played in 15 career games against the Giants in his entire career. 15 games against the Giants in his career. He has 45 tackles in 15 games, 10 sacks in 15 games against the Giants, and 12 tackles for loss in 15 games against the Giants. He also, remember this, baby, last year, week 3, last time we played the Giants at MetLife Stadium, DeMarcus Lawrence had 3 sacks last time we played him. Last year in this game, basically.
Hold my beer.
So let's see what happens. Now, we're going to some more breakdowns on the matchups that I think we need to do to win this game. I got 4 quick ones, guys, and it's going to be quick. But I got 4 of them I want to know what you think, and I want to know what you think as well now. I also want to know what the players think. Because the players spoke today, guys. A couple comments, mainly from Gallup and Ferguson on offense. We got to see what this offense is going to bring under McCarthy's scheme. Guys, hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. Much love to those that dropped the love tonight here. Tammy Soltis and Traveling Fools in the membership. Brandon James in the house. Marco Seppian, much love. First place, by the way, and stream boss. Zach Luna representing here is his first drop. Jason Renfro. You know he is. He's a sponsor of the week. Much love. Bobby Bottles gifting a couple of memberships. And Motor City in the house. Oh, yeah, and Kevin Bilbo in the Cash App. Thank you all. Dropping the love from all different sides and angles. Now, baby, who spoke first and what did they say?
Michael Gallup spoke first, and he said, quote, "It should be a good year. I feel great. Had a good camp. My body feels good, so it should be a good one." So he was also asked,
"That's good news.
What are you most excited about now that you're going into your 6th season?" He said, "To be honest, it's kind of weird to say, but just being healthy. Last year, I was thinking about trying to get over an injury. I haven't been able to go out there and just play my game. I was always worried about something, and this year, that's what I'm really excited about. Just going in there healthy."
Remember, he made that comment before, too, about the fact that he was still thinking about that leg, that knee, even into the season. Yep. So he was physically over it, but not mentally over it.
So
different situation now.
Again, sports is like 80% mental. Yeah. So, by the way, Gallup also said that Tolbert now compared to where he was last year at this time. So for him, heck, he could start him now. But anyway, back to what Gallup said, quote, "Man, that dude is miles away from where he was. That man has made a whole jump from year 1 to year 2. I'm excited to see it. You got a little snippet in the preseason, a little bit in training camp. But when his number is called, he can go anywhere on the field, any position, special teams, it doesn't even matter. I just love that kid. He's the first one in the meeting room and the last one to leave the building. He's always working out, always doing something football related, trying to get his body right. He's being a seasoned vet. I love to see it. Hopefully he comes in here for us wherever we need him, makes the plays that he makes and does good for us.
Man, I mean, again, Michael Gallup looking like his old self, professional and all as all. So
honestly, it sounds
that's
like
all we
he's
need.
Finally feeling like his old self too. Right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's important mentally. Physically, yes, of course, he's kind of there, but he was there last year, kind of. But mentally is the key. Again, I'm going to go back to that. I think seems like he's back to his old self, and it's good to see other people and himself realizing this as well.
Mm-hmm. So, and that was pretty much it from Michael Gallup. But we did actually hear from a little certain somebody on this team called Jake Ferguson. You gotta give the tight end some love, guys.
Boom.
Obviously, not exactly the nicest situation, right? But real quick, our tight ends, they're making it work, and specifically Ferguson. He's trying to embrace it as much as possible, and he's been trying to rise to that occasion. He said, one of the things that he really focused on, before I kind of jumped the gun here and realized I started talking about something I didn't explain, he's been focused on his weight, his health, his fitness, right? So I can relate to this, because apparently he has a chip problem. He loves chips. You put a bag of chips in front of him, it could be a small one, it could be a family-sized bag. It is not going to exist anymore. He said, I'm still around the same weight, but it's a lot leaner. So he has started his rookie season around 245-ish, 250-ish. So, but now it's like good weight. He said before, it wasn't really good weight, now it is. I've given up a lot of the foods I was eating, whether it was desserts, chips. Oh, I love chips. Any kind. If I get a bag of chips, it could be a family size or whatever, I'll eat the whole thing. I had to cut that out, which hasn't been as hard as I thought it would be, but I see a bag of chips and I'm itching. So, not really surprising, but he also added in there, one of my goals for this season is that I want to stay above 237 the whole season. I feel like that will help me a lot because I lost strength from losing that weight, and I want to keep that up.
So he's trying to keep up good weight, keep strong. He's a good blocker too. So, don't let that athleticism, making those catches fool you. He's also a good blocker. So you got to keep that weight and strength that reason too.
So, and Ferguson also added in there were glimpses of having great footwork, having good leverage, having good strike, but it's consistency. It's putting it all together, so it's not where, it's just the first quarter that is looking good. It's all 4 quarters. It could go into overtime. It can go to that extra length if it needs to. So, he also gave a huge amount of credit to Linda Wells, saying, I really attribute all of my success to him.
Linda Wells is our tight ends coach for some people that...
No, thank you for that, baby, yes. But yeah, he said, I really attribute all of my success to him. If it wasn't for him, I would still be having terrible footwork and not be able to block anybody. My second step used to be super long. Really, I wasn't even talking proper footwork. I'd be hopping and stuff too. I've come a long way in just a year, and hopefully will be around here as long as I can. With Wells, I feel like I can just be an every down tight end in the NFL.
It's important to know, we spoke about this from the moment we hired Linda Wells. I know some people may not have been with us then. But Linda Wells is a guy who started with the Cowboys as an offensive intern coach, like a coach, an intern, offensive coach, but he was an offensive line coach. And so he started there, and then as he progressed through the league, went to the Giants, was there with Evan Ingram coaching him. He's really focused on blocking for the tight end. Then he came to Dallas, and I said, this guy's mindset of being kind of block first is going to be great for the guys at the time, like Dalton Schultz and Blake Jarwin and guys that had issues blocking, and I'm not saying that they all did, but I'm just saying he definitely improved them all across the board. So when you have that, and then you have now guys like Ferguson, Hendershot, and Schoonmaker, who are all good blockers already coming in from college, they're just going to be more solidified and better under Wells going forward as a Cowboy and beyond. But my point is, this is a great thing to have. I like that it backs up my thought on our tight ends coach, who really focuses a lot on blocking, not just catch the ball and run the routes. It's blocking is so fundamental and so important, especially for this team and this offensive line. Let's be real.
And hey, honestly, I have to admit, not sure how I was feeling about our tight ends, and obviously I still have questions. I still want to make sure I see it and stuff like that. But Ferguson has really grown on me this offseason, and specifically since training camp.
He's looking all around, and George Kittle said he's one of the next wave of guys. Him, Pitts, and Bellinger.
He saw this opportunity, and again, most guys would sit there and just kind of take it for exactly what it is, but he said, no, this is my chance to really show more than that. So,
and I think that, again, I think in the end, I think you're going to see, Ferguson's going to be, if you like fantasy football, he's one of those guys. He's going to get catches. He's going to get, yardage with those catches, and he's going to get some touchdowns from Dak Prescott. So I think Ferguson is going to be somebody who is maybe under the radar for a lot of people, and I think he will kind of emerge this year. I don't think we lost much with replacing Dalton Schultz with Ferguson. Anyways, any other guys speak on that, on anything today, or was that pretty much it?
No, that was it.
Okay, because we're going to roll this up here, guys. Again, a couple of quick comments. Let me actually be fair and give a couple of quick comments in the chat, and then I'm going to finish up with my 4 final matchup points. After looking at the offense and defense of the Giants and our matchups with them, we're going to look at the real matchups going to be the keys to winning, against the Giants. So, baby.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a little bit more.
Baby.
Sorry, I thought you said sorry. You just said baby.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say hit up the chat or something after that. So, real quick, Stone and Mac so let's go Cowboys beat the Giants. Hell to the yeah. So, cracking me up. So, yeah, I'm definitely, I'm more of a sweets person than a savory person, but chips, oh, yeah. I'm a Ferguson on that one. Ferguson definitely had it right. Oh, let me see. Scorpio said Gallup was wearing that MyCowboysFamily wristband. Hey, we all saw it.
Yeah.
We were all here for that one.
2019.
Mm-hmm. So, Scorpio also wants to see 1,000 yards from Gallup this season.
I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen. That'd be wonderful. I look him as our third receiver, but if we go pass a lot, you may see Gallup get close. I think he can get. He had like 400 last year. Ooh, he had 400 last year. I think he gets 700 this year. Fantastic from Gallup. Mark Hovsepian dropping that 5 on it.
Ooh.
The leader on the board, the leader on the stream boss. What did Mr. Mark Hovsepian, Hawaii Mark, have to say?
He said, my point again. Ferg is a top-notch guy via others. Our backups are good. The free agent who was injured was a steal. And we draft a tight end who's going to play part-time.
Now, again, I think he's saying that Ferguson is good enough. We didn't have to get Schoonmaker. I hear what you're saying, Mark, and we're on the same page when it comes to Osiris Torrance. He would have been starting right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have had a problem. He might have been a problem. Had a problem being a second rounder, right? And maybe Cowboys might have saw him as a third or fourth rounder. My point is, throwing him in there I would have felt better with that situation than with, I guess, another rookie we're going to throw in there right now, whether it's undrafted TJ Bass or Austin Richards. But on your point, though, I think here's the thing I think that we're all missing, and I want to make sure Mark kind of understands what I'm trying to say. When it comes to Schoonmaker and McCarthy, I think, personally, McCarthy sees Schoonmaker as another offensive lineman that can catch the ball. I truly believe that. And because Darnell Washington was injured, supposedly, I think that's what kept I would have loved to see Darnell Washington, a true lineman who can, a lineman-sized guy who's called a sixth lineman. Maybe he's a tight end. That would have been a guy I would have loved to see on this team utilized as a kind of, you get a 2-for-1 there. Schoonmaker, I don't think you get as much 2-for-1, but I think that's the way McCarthy uses him as a fullback, as an inline tight end or a blocker, as a tight end on the line of scrimmage. You can do a lot with him, and he can block and catch. That's, I think, McCarthy's plan. Remember, guys, this to me is a McCarthy pick for his specific offensive scheme. So right now he's third because of the injury. He's going to be second. Trust me, Mark. Peyton Hendershot was about to be off the team with John Stevens Jr. So Hendershot's going to drop to third, about maybe week 2 or 3. And Schoonmaker's going to get a lot more play as the season continues. I still want to hold my I want to hold out on criticizing Schoonmaker still because, again, I want to see the way McCarthy will use him. And I'm saying in a couple of weeks, we'll see a lot more of Schoonmaker, I think, start getting implemented in the scheme and offense. So much love, Mark. Appreciate the drops there. Any quick other mentions or shout-outs before I get rolling with the matchups?
Yeah, even though we obviously drafted Schoonmaker and the Cowboys maybe intend a specific role for him, whether that's for now or for the future, that still doesn't take away every single opportunity that these young guys have, like outside of him, like Ferguson, McEwen, Hendershot, like obviously they might not be in the same position or be as esteemed in the Cowboys' eyes or in the front office's eyes, but that still doesn't mean they don't have the chance to make something happen. But obviously with the current circumstance and Schoonmaker being forced to take a little more of a step back until he's 100%, or the Cowboys feel better about letting him take that role, obviously this is your chance to shine. Or again, giving me major Marquise Bell vibes for different reasons, in the sense that Marquise Bell now has the opportunity to really, really shine, right? Mark Hovsepian.
Mark's dropping that 5 on it, and I was going to say this point. He's kind of saying here about using that. It's about the trade cap, the draft capital you're using to get a guy to be a tight end when you need an offensive lineman. I think that's what he's talking about. What did the man say, Mark Hovsepian?
Yeah, he said, bull. You don't use a second rounder on a guy who will block part-time when you don't have a pure starter on an aging, injured O-line with zero depth.
And I agree with Mark. And the Cowboys are thinking of taking Bergeron. Remember? With that first pick, they were going to take a backup lineman. They were going to take Bergeron there, but they went with Mozzie Smith on defense and shoring up the run stop, which I understand that viewpoint. But then, when I look at what Mark is saying here, and again, I agree and I more agree with Mark than disagree with Mark. It's just like I definitely agree you don't use a second rounder on a part-time player. But to use a second rounder on a backup, which again, we know that means also a guy who's going to be a part-time starter as well, right? Because Tyron Smith or somebody's going to be injured and on and off all throughout the season. So it's kind of the same thing if you look at it that way. That's the reason why we didn't get an offensive lineman in the first round, because we didn't want a part-time player. We wanted a full-time player with a future to get better, which is Mozzie Smith, compared to an offensive lineman. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm saying that in the second round, I can see McCarthy saying, hey, I want to get a guy who can give me that versatility, even if we don't have the depth. And here's the thing. Remember what they're going to say, guys. Look at our top 5 guys when they are healthy. We thought we'd go into season healthy. Of course, can't get a break. But when we're healthy, we're great. It's great. But says that might have been the mindset from McCarthy, saying, hey, you know what? If we lose a guy, we can still have somebody to take over that spot. That's not a guy we're using high draft capital on. While Schoonmaker is a guy we're going to utilize all over the field to kind of make this scheme work better. The scheme he was devising. We'll have to wait and see, Mark, but I hear you very well. I'm trying to see it from their perspective and then say, okay, I see what they're saying, but they're wrong, or I see what they're saying, but that's bullshit, or I see what they're saying, and it's a point they can try it. I'm going to hold off and seeing what it looks like with scheme of McCarthy and maker of Schoon on that field together. Full time, but we got to see it because the pressure is on, without question. So, anyways, yes, that was another. We love having the discussions here with the family, Mark Hovsepian and the crew. Fan Friday style. Hit the like, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Join us for tomorrow. Of course, it's gonna try to get a special interview. I don't know if it's gonna happen. And then we're gonna go through the keys to victories and all that stuff tomorrow. Kind of get your thoughts on things as we rev up and ramp it up to game day on Sunday. Cameras on, the reaction, play-by-play watch party right here. 8:20 is kickoff. We'll be live at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And I will caution everybody with the thunderstorms. Not rain, but thunderstorms, they could delay the game. So you'll be watching with us, watching together. Love the family here in MCF and the Cowboy fan base. Now let's talk about matchups. Finish this thing up, guys, because to me, you look at this front of our thumbnail. You see the thumbnail. You'll see the two major sides of things when it comes to matchups on offense and defense. But there's other little ones that are important. Marquee matchups for Sunday night, guys. We know matchups are what's going to a lot of times win you or lose you a game. All right. Of course, it might be like a surprise matchup that comes to fruition, but someone breaks something big. I'm talking about the overall kind of matchup consistency of a game, of the biggest things that are going to turn the games, play after play after play. To me, one of the more pivotal things is going to be third downs. For the Cowboys to keep the Giants on third downs, keep them on passing downs, That's going to make them one-dimensional. On a 3rd down and 12, guess what happens? On a 3rd and 8 or 7, guess what happens? We know we can attack them a little bit differently, better, and lock them down with our... I can't wait to see our corners lock them down. But Cowboys can try... A key to this game is that the Giants are going to want to stay out of obvious passing situations. The Cowboys, of course, use our pass rush packages and employ movement up front to generate pressure with a 4-man rush. We can blitz. We don't have to blitz. But that's what we can do, guys. And look, leading the pack, the Lion, Micah Parsons. He totaled 13.5 sacks last year. Became the 3rd player since 1982. I got to show him. Hey, when I talk about Micah, we got to show Micah. Yes, the Hungry Lion. Last year, he totaled 13.5 sacks. Became the 3rd player since 1982. When the individual sack became a statistic in the NFL, and he was the first to record. I'm sorry, was he the 3rd player to record at least 13 sacks in each of his first 2 seasons in the NFL. He led all players last year with 6 games of 2 or more sacks. He enters this season with 9 career games of at least 2 sacks. So he's at 9 games. That's 18 sacks just there. Now, with his next time Micah Parsons gets a game where he gets 2 sacks, the next time he gets a double sack game or more, he'll become the 6th player since 1982 to record 10 or more games with at least 2 sacks in his first 3 seasons in the NFL, which would join Hall of Famers like Reggie White, Richard Dent, Sean Merriman, Alden Smith, Dwight Freeney. All these guys. Now, again, those last 3 were not Hall of Famers, but Richard Dent, Reggie White are. He'll be only the 6th player ever to do that. Micah Parsons needs 13 sacks total, 13 more sacks to become the 2nd player since 1982 with at least 13 sacks in each of his first 3 years. And I said this before, I'll say it again. That would join Reggie White if he gets 13 sacks this year. A lot of records go down, and again, a lot more money goes up for Micah Parsons when it's time to pay him, and he deserves it. Now, Micah Parsons leads my first matchup. This is big, guys. Micah Parsons, I know some people, it's going to be moving around. These guys will move around. But you can see it on our thumbnail right here. See on that left side? You got Micah Parsons going up against Andrew Thomas, guys. Yes. Number 78. The Giants used 2 top 10 picks on Andrew Thomas, 4th overall in the draft, and Evan Neal, 7th overall in the draft in the 2020 and the 2022 drafts, to be their left and right tackles of the future. Now, you can watch Micah here. You'll see Micah going up against Thomas, number 78, multiple times. You watch when they play the Giants, and you'll see Micah against number 78, Andrew Thomas, almost every time. That was, again, the main kind of matchup. He does go against the other side. There he goes. 78 got burned. Boom, sack. So I'm just saying, you see Micah, he will dominate. He will definitely have his way with Andrew Thomas, who just got a huge payday, this year, this offseason. And again, I will mention a little bit of Evan Neal, who got manhandled as well. Again, you got the left and right tackles. They're high drafted guys. 4th overall, 7th overall, and two drafts separated by 2 years. But we've had our way with these guys. Now, let's talk about Andrew Thomas a little bit, guys, because he turned himself into one of the top young players at the left tackle position. The Giants are also hoping that right tackle Evan Neal makes a significant second-year jump this season. Last year, Micah Parsons, as I said, was shut out of sacks in the first meeting. But we see Micah getting that sack against the Giants. I think it's coming up right here. That's the second meeting when Dak was able to beat Andrew Thomas and get his sack there right here. Boom. Right, that was Thanksgiving, I think. So again, that game, Dak got a sack on, and going up against Andrew Thomas, and he had 2 of them total against the Giants that game against Andrew Thomas. So DeMarcus Lawrence, by the way, also had his way with 3 sacks in the first game against Evan Neal last year. So I'm just saying, guys, we got those pass rush edges locked down. This is a major matchup. If we win these, if we get Micah past Andrew Thomas and we get DeMarcus Lawrence past Evan Neal, this will be a very difficult day for the Giants to win. Now, if they are only facing 10 total third downs the entire game, then we're going to lose. Okay, because we're not keeping the pass rush on third downs and long, making them throw the ball a lot. So again, Micah Parsons, he's trying to be that defensive player of the year. He's going against one of the better young tackles. Not the best tackles, but the best young tackles. One of the best ones right now. Again, you got to put pressure, of course, on Daniel Jones. And we know the one issue that Daniel Jones gives us is not just the running, but the mobility in the pocket. He does a good job on that side of things, and that can make things more difficult to get those sacks and corral him. So it's going to be up to Dan Quinn to put Micah Parsons in favorable situations. I think that will happen. And if it does happen, this will be a big-time Dallas favor. You get to 3rd down and 8, 3rd and 7, 3rd and a passing down, 2nd and 12. That's it. We're coming for you. And it's going to come from Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence and others. Mm-hmm. So, again, when they line up against each other, guys, again, last year, you got to remember, guys, Andrew Thomas earned his second All-Pro honors last year. Of course, Micah was first team and finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. But nonetheless, the Cowboys have said Micah will be a full-time edge player this year. He played 82.6% of his snaps last year as an edge rusher, or at least on the line of scrimmage. And Micah lined up on the left side, which is going to, on the left side of the line, meaning over the right tackle spot, 277 times, while he spent almost 490 snaps over the left tackle. Andrew Thomas, coming for you. So Micah leads the NFL. With last year, I think since 2021, actually, 2 years in a row, he leads the NFL with an 18.3 pressure percentage. That's according to Next Gen Stats. And is only one of 3 players with at least 25 sacks and 30 tackles for loss since 2021, his rookie year. He was the only player last year who had 6 games with at least 2 sacks. Did I mention again, the only player last year that did that? According to PFF, he has 94 pressures, which ranked him second only to Nick Bosa in the entire NFL. Some massive numbers there for the Giants and Andrew Thomas to get over. Now, Andrew Thomas developed, again, one of the most consistent pass protection tackles in the NFL. So that's his big thing. Although here, he got Micah getting his sack, baby. So again, according to PFF, he only allowed pressures on 3.9% of his pass blocking snaps. So only 4% of the time he allowed pressures. Prior, they were all against Micah. And that was last year. He had an 88.8 pass blocking grade from PFF, which puts him almost elite there as a pass blocker. So that is, you're going to see Micah lose some of those battles too, trust me. Last year, they had to triple team Micah, and he still got in there. So, Micah lines up at different positions, as I said, throughout the game, and him and Dan Quinn, they find mismatches. Dan Quinn utilizes Micah in twists and slants to give him more opportunities against all the offensive linemen are going to be less athletic than Micah Parsons. So you guys feel me on this? No matter who he's, they might be athletic for offensive linemen, they ain't Micah Parsons. So as long as Micah's moving inside, and you see him here against Tennessee, just wrecking it like that, the more movement, the harder it is to kind of keep on him. So you're going to see him doing this with less athletic offensive linemen like the Giants and every offensive line are. The Cowboys led the league last year in stunt and twist rate, which is when you see them kind of twist, kind of going, crossing each other. Or, you'll see it throughout a play on defense. These guys, they mix and match. That's what you're going to see here. There's a twist or a curl. A twist or a stunt kind of play there. So the Cowboys utilize a pass rushing package on passing downs. It basically is like the amoeba, racetrack, whatever they called it. It's good. Our passing down, our pass down off defensive line are all edge rushers. There's no defensive tackles. You got Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong, DeMarcus Lawrence, Sam Williams, Micah Parsons. You'll see DeMarcus Lawrence and Dorrance Armstrong playing as the 1 tech and 3 techs in the pass rushing downs, with like Sam Williams and Micah. Or Fowler, Dante Fowler or Micah on the outside. Now, when you look at the metrics, guys, the Cowboys are the most efficient pass rushing team in the league last year, according to PFF. The Cowboys led the NFL in pressure rate. Micah led the whole NFL in fourth quarter and overtime pressure rate. But the Cowboys also led the NFL in pressure rate for a game, 43.1%. Average time to get pressure in 2.41 seconds. If you have that ball in 2.41 seconds, you're getting clocked by our Cowboy defense. You're getting pressure. You're getting hit. You're getting all that stuff. Cowboys are tied for third in the league with 54 sacks, and the Cowboys managed all these numbers despite the fact that we only blitzed 16th highest in the NFL. Only about 29.3%. About a third of the time we blitzed. That's very average. We did it with 4-man fronts. Again, we had to blitz. That could be detrimental to the Cowboys. we should not be blitzing on any teams, and the Giants, we should not be blitzing on them at all. Now, when it comes to the defense, not just on that side of things, it's on our secondary versus Darren Waller. I'm going to make this one quicker because, I'm sorry. It's not on that screen there, but I'm just saying Darren Waller might not play. He's questionable for this game at tight end, guys. So, again, keep that in mind when I'm speaking on this. But, again, Darren Waller to me is a key piece for the Giants coming into the season. And there's no question in my mind who's going to be taking cover, who's going to be going up against him in this game. And the Cowboys can employ a lot of different, or deploy, I guess, but a lot of different, kind of tactics, I guess you can say, on stopping Waller for the Giants. But it's going to come down to me, specifically this matchup, Jayron Kearse. Major battle here. Jayron Kearse has owned him when he was at the Raiders. So the offseason, the Giants added Darren Waller, upgrade their offense, Darren Jones in the passing game. He's 6'6", and he's a mismatched kind of weapon. He has, hands like a receiver there, but he's a good blocker too, but he's had nagging injuries that's hampered his production the last 2 years. So he has less numbers because of those injuries. We talked about that already. Now he's healthy for this opening game. At least he was. Now he's injured with a hamstring. So that's one of the biggest issues that Waller was looking at this year. Like Tyron Smith and Tyler Smith now, something like this happens, it's going to be tough to get in there, especially with a hamstring, soft tissue. So he is a big athletic receiver, a receiving threat at tight end that could give the Cowboys and any team secondary issues, right? Dan Quinn has always kind of neutralized Darren Waller or types like him with Jayron Kearse, who's wearing number 1 now, by the way. So whether it's in zone or man-to-man, different players will have an opportunity to try to contain this new tight end from the Giants. It could be Marquise Bell and others, but it's gonna could be some of the linebackers, Damon Clark. I believe it'll be Jayron Kearse, guys. And if it would have been Wilson, if he was in a play as well, he could probably do a little bit of that. To me, Kearse is the prototype for this, but you can't let him get loose out there if he does play. He's definitely not going to be 100%. That's 100. We know that for 100%. Waller's not going to be 100%. If he even plays, it's going to be a tight squeeze, in my opinion, to get him on that field. So Kearse, we might have more abilities to utilize him in even more ways if Waller is out for this game. I really hope Waller plays so you can see what I'm talking about, and Kearse taking him out of the game, slowing him down to like 2 catches.
Yeah, Thomas Garrett said, I remember Darren Waller from his days at Georgia Tech.
Yep. And he was doing great with the Raiders, but then he I guess go back to 2021, I think, and we locked him down per Jayron Kearse. So now we flip. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, Justin D saying refs call what they want when they want.
Yeah, that is true. Very true. We can't control that. That's why you got to play as clean as possible. You can't rely on refs to help us, right? So we know the reffing crew this week. We talked about them already. They're pretty down the line. They don't overthrow any kind of penalty. They don't call too many. They kind of are average as far as penalty numbers and the types of penalties they throw. It's kind of like the ones you see all across the NFL. So just be careful, Cowboys, and always try to be as clean as possible. Now, flipping this over to the other side, guys, we got to talk about this is obviously dependent on what's going to happen with these two guys and the injuries, but the offensive line versus their defensive line. There's some incredibly high caliber matchups on the trenches for our offense. Tyron Smith, he's going to play probably, but he's going to have to go up against Kayvon Thibodeau most of the time. That's number 5 for the Giants. It's again with that ankle issue. It's a must watch. Now, no help inside from Tyler Smith as much. Tyron Smith's look is going to be. It's going to be a major. We have to watch what happens with 77 with the ankle versus Kayvon Thibodeau, who's going to be fast. He's going to be Micah-like. Just be aware of that, guys. That is a major matchup for this outcome. Tyler Smith needs to hold down and keep Kayvon Thibodeau at bay. Number 5. Now, what about Ojulari? He's going to go up against? He should be nullified. Terrence Steele on the other side. Ojulari on one side, Thibodeau on the other side on pass rushing downs. That's fine. Ojulari's going to be good. He's good. He could give you trouble, but I think Terrence Steele, we're going to see that knee test real quick. And I think he should be okay. Again, a good pass rusher in Ojulari. And again, Terrence Steele is a fantastic run blocker, but he's always been a little suspect on the pass blocking. That's why you want to keep an eye on number 78 there, Terrence Steele, see how he does against Ojulari. But again, I think that when you look at the running side of things, passing downs, Terrence Steele could have some struggles with Ojulari, but on running downs, when we run the ball that way, baby, Ojulari is a very iffy run defender, not a good run defender, and Terrence Steele, a dominant run blocker, a mauler. So if we run the ball on the right, we're gonna have a lot of good plays coming from that side. I think against somebody like Ojulari, who's not a good run stopper. The Giants had 51 plays last year where Dexter Lawrence, defensive tackle, and Leonard Williams, defensive tackle, and Kayvon Thibodeau, I just talked about him on the outside, and Azeez Ojulari, I just talked about him on the other side. When all four of these guys were on the field, and we're going to see all four guys in the field tomorrow, here's what happened. All right, on 31 passes, they only allowed, I think, .165 EPA. They got one sack. I'm thinking it was 4 weeks they had this crew in there. 6 quarterback hits. And the Giants' win percentage, here's the big one, went up about 5%. That could be the opponent. But the point is that they will definitely give you trouble when they have, again, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams on the inside. And on the outside, Thibodeau and Ojulari. The biggest watch would be, I guess, Tyler Smith's replacement versus whoever he's going to go up against, whether it is Lawrence or Leonard Williams. It's going to be tough for TJ Bass, Richards, or the Thibodeau, Adoga. So, anyways, that's another matchup there we got to watch in the trenches. The last, and least, not. I guess I can't say least because they're all very important. But this one here is one I think is going to win us the game. So I guess it's the most important. And let me go to the actual thumbnail here. You're seeing it on the top right here. You're seeing CeeDee Lamb mostly going to be in the slot against Adoree Jackson, number 22, who's going to be mostly in the slot, covering him. So that to me is, again, a huge matchup this game. And so I'm going to stay with CeeDee Lamb on this one here and tell you why it's important, guys. CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and Michael Gallup, all three, have one of the best, if not the best, wide receiving trio. All three of these guys together, we're one of the best trios in the NFL as far as starting wide receivers. It's going to be a handful for any defensive secondary to cover or contain, not just in this game, but throughout the whole season. But a Giants team, this is what's important. That's why people overlook it. They see the big names and don't think about what's going on in the whole defensive scheme of the Giants. Because that's when I say, take a look at, well, not there, but let's take a look at the guys that to me are the biggest weaknesses on this Giants team. And it's their 2 rookie cornerbacks. So that's why it's important to know that CeeDee Lamb's going to go up against Adoree Jackson, our number 1 against their number 1, basically, although he is more of a slot guy. So when you look at their defense, I got CeeDee Lamb here. You see number 36, rookie, number 37 over there, rookie. It's going to be hard for the Giants to contain all 3 of our guys. They got Deonte Banks, number 36, sitting right there. All right, you got number 37, Trey Hawkins, right there. Those are the 2 guys that we have to attack. And no one expected the Giants to have 2 rookies starting at cornerback. So that's why, when you look at who's in the nickel, it's number 22, Adoree Jackson. And that's probably the way it's going to be with him kind of moving around wherever CeeDee Lamb is. They're going to move number 22 around. So CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, their versatility to be able to play slot or the outside receiver is dangerous now for the Cowboys because they're both kind of equally dangerous. They both are a mismatch problem for these number 37 and number 36. I mean, one of them's going to have to cover CeeDee Lamb or Brandon Cooks. So that's going to be where the problem, and I think that's where Dak Prescott needs to take advantage of this. Throwing Michael Gallup and his sneaky ability to take the top off of defenses. Cooks can do that as well. The Cowboys' aerial attack. We should be able to pick apart this Giants' young secondary at will. We got to have the blocking, though. Got to have that blocking and at least a little bit of time for Dak to get that ball out. This is a one matchup, though. When I come CeeDee Lamb in the secondary of the Giants, this is one matchup that, over all the other ones, in my opinion, that could have the biggest impact on the outcome for the game of the Cowboys. Imagine if we can go down the field and score 3 touchdowns in a field goal. 24 points from the offense, that wins the game. Adoree Jackson is the only guy that can really step in there and kind of slow down maybe one of our guys, and that's going to be here on the top right. He's going to be covering a lot of CeeDee Lamb. Adoree Jackson going to cover a lot of CeeDee Lamb. In the 2 games against the Giants last year, CeeDee Lamb had 14 catches, 193 yards, and a receiving touchdown on 22 targets. He did drop 1 easy touchdown that first game from Cooper Rush. CeeDee Lamb played 40 of his 122 snaps in the slot and 71 outside. So that's going to be an interesting matchup there. If we force the Giants to use one of those inexperienced cornerbacks to have to force them to play slot, because Adoree Jackson follows CeeDee Lamb to the outside, you attack that guy in the slot because they're not ready for that. These are outside corners. So that's how you can use the Adoree Jackson matchup in CeeDee Lamb. You move CeeDee Lamb to the outside, and if they dare use Adoree out there, now you attack the slot and you kill him. So to me, guys, that's where I think you got to remember that CeeDee Lamb's usage, his slot usage, increased throughout the season. So when we played the Giants the first week and in Thanksgiving, we were a lot more into the slot with CeeDee Lamb the second time around. The first time, not as much. So anyways, the point here is, guys, is that he played 30 or more snaps, I think, in the slot towards the end of the season. And he did this in each of his final 7 games of the season. He played more slot than outside receiver. So according to Next Gen Stats, no player had more receiving yards from the slot last year than CeeDee Lamb with 826 yards from the slot. So fantastic there. Now, Adoree Jackson, I will say, he missed the second game of the series in Thanksgiving against the Cowboys. He injured his knee against the Houston Texans. In his first game, he was on CeeDee Lamb, and he played only 4 snaps inside a nickel corner, but all 4 he was matched up against CeeDee Lamb. And you guys remember CeeDee Lamb made a one-handed grab against him for a touchdown. He failed again. Initially, again, Jackson did. I don't know if it was against him, actually. Was it against him? It was against him. But Adoree Jackson played 68 total snaps last year as a whole. And that number, they're going to push him to go almost full-time inside into the slot for Adoree Jackson. We're going to see, again, how that's going to work out for his coverage ability in the slot against CeeDee Lamb. So, again, Deonte Banks, Trey Hawkins on the outside. You see them there? That's going to be interesting to see which one has to get CeeDee Lamb when CeeDee Lamb is on the outside. I'm going to watch that matchup, and I'm going to watch who's in the slot. You know, if they put Adoree Jackson on the outside with CeeDee Lamb, he can do that. I mean, that's really his main thing. So, to me, I think this is another critical matchup to keep an eye on. Again, I'm going to reiterate, if Adoree Jackson travels with Lamb for most of this game, Hawkins and Deonte Banks, number 37, 36, will get matched up at Cooks and Gallup. All right? According to PFF, the Giants played more cover 1 or cover 0 than any other team in the league last year, 29%, and they blitzed more than any other team in the NFL. This is going to be great for the Cowboys if Wink Martindale keeps pushing this. And even though they're rookies, their defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, is unlikely to be hesitant on putting them on one-on-one coverages on the outside. So I don't know if they're going to blitz as much as last year, or at least against us, with these young guys on the outside. The last thing I'm going to say, as we're wrapping this up, Cowboys were right in the middle of the league last year with 50 passing plays that went 20 yards or more. Right there, about 16th. CeeDee Lamb has 44 of those 50 passing plays. 44 of those catches since 2021, which ranks him only second to Justin Jefferson in the entire NFL. The Cowboys did not throw the ball deep downfield as much than other teams did last year. And the Cowboys only had 4 completions that traveled at least 30 yards in the air, which was the 5th fewest in the league. Believe it or not, that was 1 fewer than the Giants. So, listen, there's still questions on how the offense might change with the departure of Kellen Moore. And, and I think that, you're going to see, I think an improvement, a better, not maybe the yardage or the stats, but more consistency and more, everyone kind of not making silly, stupid fucking mistakes. So, to me, Brian Schottenheimer there, maybe, focusing on the run a little bit more often there. McCarthy taking over play calling duties and maybe focusing more on the pass. This is what's going to this combination is going to really make or break this Cowboy team for 2023. And I think we're going to have more of a vertical passing offense once we lure defenses up like the Giants. That's what we're hitting with the CeeDee Lamb on the mismatch, the Brandon Cooks on the mismatch, the Michael Gallup on the mismatch. And that's all I got to say, baby, about these matchups for this upcoming game. We got 60 plus in the house. Hitting that like, hitting subscribe, hitting that notification bell. Ooh. I want to know what they quickly have to say, baby, before we clock out of here for the night after talking a lot of CeeDee Lamb.
Let me see here. And Cassie Stewart, have a great night. Take it easy. Let me roll it back a little bit. Justin D said, that was Kellen's problem, getting too cute instead of attacking teams' weak spots. We done Boys 99 born ready for this Sunday. I genuinely can't wait. So Scorpio said, we need to stop fucking around and invest heavy on O-line next draft. Our only weakness is our O-line when we don't have everyone healthy.
I have a feeling there's strong offensive line draft, strong running back draft. Look for those to be early, the first day 1, day 2 picks.
So, let me see. Rolando Rodriguez, take it easy. Have a great night, of course. We have Justin D, Little Dallas, even New Lee's side, Scorpio, much love, Asmodeus. Of course, Retro Scotty, Cassie Stewart. Let me see. We have Madman. Rolling back a little bit. Of course, Mark Hovsepian was in the house earlier.
Mark.
Stoned Immaculate. It's actually as far back as I can go here, at least on my side. So, Chuck to Montana 808. What's up? Much love.
Montana
Take it easy. Have a great night.
Extra special thanks to the people that dropped the love, joined the membership, dropped Cash App. However you did it, guys. Gifted memberships like Bobby Bottles. Much love, Motor City, Kevin Bilbo in the Cash App, Jason Renfro, Zach Luna, Mark Hovsepian, of course, Brandon James, Traveling Fools, Tammy Soltis, both in the Navy Blue crew. Thank both of you. And thank you guys who repping the board. Sponsor of the week, Mr. Jason Renfro. The Cash App King. You know why he's here, guys. Mr. Snug X. Mark Hovsepian taking over the stream boss today from Mr. Lara. And then you have the current leader in the Cash App, Skeptical Fan, representing there. Always staying skeptical, though. And then you got the, he dominated the first 3 months of the gifting board, but Jason Renfro got the last 5 on it. Trying to go for 6 and beyond. But he's in second place right now. He's got Skeptical and Bobby Bottles tied for third. In first place, The Lunatic currently leading that battle going on there. And on the overall board, guys, much love to Mark Hovsepian, who just jumped Skeptical Fan today on that overall thing. Coming for that sponsor of the week. Baby, that's it from me. I want you to tell me who's in the house. Give the last quick rundown. I think did you already shout everybody out? I think you did.
I did.
So let me know why do we do this like crazy people every single night of the week right now for right a little bit over 2 hours tonight on Fan Friday. Why do we do this, baby?
It's that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything.
Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly. Never forget here, guys. We always rep that star over everything. 6 years here on YouTube and beyond. 7th season of doing these live stream reactions, and can't wait to see if we can get that 6th this year, please. Thank you all for rocking with us here on My Cowboys Family. Never forget the number one thing here, now and forever, on this channel. As always, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and beyond. Guys, thank you for dropping the knowledge in the chat all night long. Can't do this without your guys' thoughts and views on our Cowboys. Of course, much love to those, not just viewing, but dropping the love from above. Shout you guys out. Again, I'm going to check the boards, make sure that's good to go as we get ready for the weekend here tomorrow. Maybe a little special guest appearance here from a Giants perspective. And then game day on Sunday to crown, not just to crown the first win of the season, hopefully for us, but also sponsor of the week, the Cash App King, the gifting champion. We shall see over the next 2 days who does that. Guys, thank you for rocking with us here. Before we can drop out and clock out for the night, we got to relock and reload for the keys to victory tomorrow. We kind of did that. More of an open Q&A tomorrow. We're going to have some fun with this thing. Baby, before we can officially drop out for the night, let everybody know what we got to do here in MCF.
We got to drop the beat.
That beat now, officially, is what? It's dropped. Thank you guys for rocking with us here once again. We're almost there, guys. In 48 hours from right now, we will be long offline celebrating that victory against the Giants. Guys, we'll see you back here tomorrow for the kickoff eve for our Cowboys. Ooh, I'm excited. Thank you very much, guys. Hit that like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, and always say go Cowboys. Thank you for joining us for another Cowboys chat right here on MCF. Yes, guys, we talked about it all. The matchups here, you're seeing 2 of them right there up the top. You've seen the big question marks there. It looks like 2 out of the 3 might not be playing, as in Donovan Wilson and Tyler Smith. Tyron, there's a better chance he plays. We'll know a lot more today, tomorrow. I say today as in, Saturday. And maybe tomorrow night we'll have some answers on that, guys. Jerry Jones, McCarthy, they all spoke multiple times. Thank you for rocking with us right here on MCF, My Cowboys Family, where it's always about that navy blue silver too, and that star over everything. Never forget the most important thing right here on this channel. Here on My Cowboys Family, never forget. Much love to everyone rocking with us. Appreciate you all, guys. Have a great night. Starting off your weekend, hopefully right. Have a safe weekend. Have a safe night. Peace out. And never, ever forget. Go Cowboys!
On the beat. Monk on the beat.